performance in this must-win game. But while we're talking about movies, call Eddie Murphy, because over on Fnatic's team we have the Golden Child. That is an incredible reference, guys. And he'll be hoping to overcome Mousesports in this game. I was taken aback by my own brilliance there. Thanks, guys. What can I say? I was pretty good, right?
You got to give yourself a good pat on the back.
You do sometimes. We're here in the G Fuel E-League Arena, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Richard Lewis, your host. This is James Bardol. That's Semler. We all decided to wear blue. We coordinated by accident today, as guys often do.
In a blue studio as well. Look at this, lights.
It's a blue day.
Some of your best work, Richard, I have to say. That was a great introduction.
That's really depressing. But the games are going to deliver a lot more than I'm going to. Anyway, we're going to talk plenty on the desk today. What we are going to do, though, is introduce you to a recap of what happened yesterday and how we got to this point. Two formed teams in World Counter-Strike, the Brazilians of Immortals going up against the multinational lineup.
Goes Oscar again. Now onto Chris J with the rifle. Oh, Kogu, he just has a sixth sense for it.
Looking for the wall bang. He's gonna take the risk. What a play from Kogu. He picks up one kill, then two. Snako just laying waste. There's Steel, taking advantage of the MAC-10, 2 kills for him.
We started well, we won the pistol round, so everything went so good for us on the T side.
Steel finds the headshot, turns it into the 1v1 and wins the clutch. Perfect play from Steel. It's all on Stiko now. 1v4, they're coming towards the B side. He doesn't have a hope, a prayer here, unless he can get them lined up, and that's just not gonna happen. Dominant second half here for Immortals.
Now, these teams are ready to get into the action.
The numbers are coming, but can they get any trades? Not looking good right now for the T's.
North are being very aggressive. Flusher in a 1 versus 2.
Is he going to be able to plant the bomb? Oh, are you serious, Flusher?
Flusher going to be peeking in. He goes down. Cajun. Oh, what?
MSL with a 3K.
We are playing together now as a unit and still doing stuff individually, but playing together as a unit.
He's just hiding in the corner. He sees them walking in. Another double kill for MSL.
Oh man, 2 headshots, goodbye. His face has been completely removed by Legro. Fnatic have been given multiple lifelines. Some last minute tactics before they try to avoid overtime.
Finally, it's the end. What an absolutely grotesque game.
Immortals will be starting on the T side. They will be the aggressors here versus North. But that's 2 for MS.
Steel with one great return and the follow-up with a triple kill. He's going to go for the ace clutch here, James.
He needs one more.
He's got the quad, and there's the ace clutch. Unbelievable play from Steel.
Oh!
Knifing him in the smoke.
MSL again doing big damage for his team.
Oh, what a great flick from Cajun B. Cajun out in the open. Ooh, you've got to be kidding. The Koku spraying them down, and they're all headshots. We've got a real game on our hands here, James. Config goes down, a ridiculous shot, and Henny to close out. Now we're in overtime. Very tough game of Counter-Strike here between these two teams. There's the legend himself with the triple, and the crowd chants Kogu.
They are on the wrong side of these choke points, and there are far too many North players. Valde looking for the final kill, and there it is. North will be victorious over Immortals. Double overtime.
So confirmation of the results on your screens there. Immortals overcome Mousesports very easily. We were all surprised by that, 16-8. North and Fnatic close. We were surprised by that too, 16-14, which set up an epic and long Immortals and North encounter. We ran till, I don't know, 12:30 or something last night. It was crazy game back and forth. North edged it, which puts Immortals down there. But the first game is going to be Mousesports versus Fnatic. And as I said, I think this group is just wide open. I really would hate to have to make predictions for this one.
Coming into this group, you definitely felt like it was going to be the most even one. You don't have any tournament crushers in this group, right? You know, it's not like Group D where we have, what, SK Astralis, who are going to be battling it out there. Both of them could have their own separate groups where they would dominate. Instead, they're together. So that really allows for some teams that you wouldn't really expect to get too deep, such as Fnatic, for example, or even Mousesports, despite the Mykonos result, you know, to actually have an impact and fight a little bit harder here.
Yeah, sure. And
we had a lot of back and forth yesterday, especially in the North matches, which is quite exciting. And I really hope that continues today. because when we got to the late game of each match, we really weren't sure who was going to take things over the line, and both teams here proved to be very capable despite coming off on the worst end of things. Yeah,
it was a real back and forth encounter in the last match. So I said I'd hate to have to make predictions. We're going to invite you at home to do just that for this first game. Get on social media, go to @eLeagueTV on Twitter, hashtag Mousesports wins if you think it's going to be Mousesports, hashtag Fnatic wins if you think it's going to be Fnatic. Nice and easy. We'll reveal those results a little bit later in the show. But now we are going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to see if Chris J can step up his level of performance and help power Mousesports to victory over this Fnatic lineup. We're going to find out who's going to win in just a few moments. We'll see you then.
You make me feel invincible. Shot like a rocket up into the sky. Not gonna stop. Invincible. Feel invincible.
Look at Oscar going third for him.
They cannot stop Chris J. That is absurd.
And Mousesports keep it alive.
Stico taking advantage.
Locks it down.
Works it with the flash. Mousesports take it over the line.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the G Fuel E-League Arena here in Atlanta, Georgia. We are about to get underway, but first we do need to introduce you to these teams, if indeed they do need an introduction. I hope they do, because that's what I'm going to ask you to do. Semler, tell us all about Mousesports.
Well, one of the follow-ups used to be the German roster, right? And has eventually kind of gone into that kind of European international roster following in FaZe's footsteps, and they've seen success.
It's over. It's over.
They've seen success. They've seen success, actually. And with the tournament win in Mykonos last week over Liquid, I mean, that was a big deal. Chris J, he was so excited, he actually had to cool off in the pool. Whereas, you know, I think...
Baptism.
He was baptized. He baptized himself, actually, so he didn't really need any help, right? He is the in-game leader, after all. But really, I guess the main things to take away from this here is that it's going to be Oscar, it's going to be Rops. We're going to be looking at those two players. Stico yesterday showed us what he was capable of as well. He had some explosive rounds. And so we're starting to learn that there is firepower here on Mousesports. It isn't like, you know, the rejects from the international scene. Instead, they're actually forming a tight unit here, and they will be a threat going forward. They're definitely a team to watch to make it out of the second seed.
What do you make of them, James?
I really enjoy watching this Mousesports side. Again, at the last major, they went into some pressure. You don't reach a certain point, we're going to make roster changes. I was worried about that because I thought the old roster had potential, but in the short time this one's been together, they've obviously had great results, so it looks good so far. They seem to be coordinated. Oscar and Sonny are working well together, so there's a lot of good things to see in this Mousesports lineup. Yeah,
and I'll stay with you, James, talking about a team that's kind of transforming. We've got Fnatic, a very new-look Fnatic, but with some old names still in the mix.
Indeed, this is a Fnatic side who tried to make things work multiple times with the big five names, but that's definitely gone now with Olofmeister moving towards FaZe. Golden and Lekro moving in, and we've seen a great performance from these guys so far. It is a golden dictatorship, if you will. In the interview with JW, said he has
I'm about to geopolitics.
He has the free reign to do whatever he wants, and he's leading by example. He had a really good performance yesterday. Lekro and Golden leading a charge for Fnatic, and I think that's not only good for them and their standing in the team, but it's good for the old boys as well, to see them leading the charge. I think that's going to be good energy for the team overall.
Yeah, and I thought that was interesting, Semley. You know, they did say that in the interview. JW was like, look, they had to tell Golden, yes, you've come through the academy side. Yes, you're not as experienced as us, but you're the boss. You need to tell us what to do.
That was one of my main concerns going into this. Will they give him the respect? And, well, the question is whether or not they fell far enough down, right? Once you hit rock bottom, then you realize, well, now we have to do anything it takes. And so JW, Fnatic, Crims, I mean, you're talking about major championship winners. They've been at the very top, the most dominant team, but they've also fallen to where they just get eliminated from everything now. And so it seems like it is low enough to say, right, all right, Golden, it's your shot. You call
it's worth noting, Sam, I mean, just a crazy, terrible run. I can't think of a time in CSGO Fnatic have had these kind of results. So anyway, we are going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to get into the action, and we'll also hear from Mousesports' Chris J. So make sure you join us.
Hey, 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 every day when I wake, I'm trying to get up, they're knocking me down. Hey, 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 when I need to be saved.
Them down. It's massive for Fnatic. He's looking JW of old. Aggressive, fast, and getting away with it.
Russia has decimated everyone.
They're double, a triple. He's stepping up huge late for Fnatic. A good win, an important win for Fnatic.
All right, Fnatic versus Mousesports. There is a map veto to come. So, Samla, I'll start with you.
Mirage.
What's going well, let's see if you're right.
I actually have no idea if I'm right or not, but I think that's where they are going to wind up.
I mean, it was a great performance by Fnatic yesterday on Mirage. It's got to be said. Push North all the way.
Those are pretty much the first two auto vetoes for both sides. Mousesports are big fans of Train. You will have to look out for Chris J on the T side of that one. Not afraid to play Mirage as well, and we saw that from Fnatic already. Again, they've had a short space of time to play those maps. So we've got the third one is Train Mirage. Good start so far. I think both teams will be happy with that. Cobblestone, that's a good one for Mousesports.
Yeah, what quick reaction to this then? I mean, this looks like it's a veto that I think potentially we could see all three maps.
I'm kind of curious to see how this new Fnatic is going to be able to work on a tactical map like Train. I mean, tactical. Really, what it boils down to is go default every round. And if we're going to take away what JW said about his in-game leader yesterday, that he likes to go for the mid-round calls based off of what his team is telling him, well, then Train could work. You go default every round on T side. You let players like JW and Crims work around the map a little bit and figure it out, and then you make that snap decision, right? Go B, go A. So it could actually work where Fnatic are a strong team on this map here.
Yeah, and James, you did say that we need to watch out for Chris J in this one. We actually spoke to Chris J a little bit earlier today. This interview courtesy of Smix.
Hey guys, this is Smix, and today I am joined by Chris J from Mousesports. Chris, I know that the past 2 weeks have been a roller coaster for the team. Yeah. First week after the player break, you bombed out of groups at Malma. Then 1 week later, you guys became champions at Mykonos. I mean, how surreal was that for the team?
It was crazy. Really, obviously, Malma was a disappointment, but in another way, we had like in the back of our mind, like we didn't practice it all yet. new team. We got 2 totally different players in the team right now. So we were like, okay, we just need to practice more, and then results will come. But then suddenly at Mykonos, it all worked for some reason. So yeah, that was a pleasant surprise.
And speaking for yourself, you're now the longest standing member of Mousesports. Almost been 4 years since you joined the team. This was your first victory with the team, and you've been through so many different rosters and lineups. So how does this particular lineup compare to all the rest?
Well, yeah, it's not like really the first victory. It's the first big win, you know. So it's something special for me for sure, and for the whole team. I think it's like the first big win for anybody in the lineup, even though they're not that long in the team yet. But I don't know. I feel like the team is like really hardworking. We haven't obviously had so much time to really put in a lot of work, but everybody really wants to win, wants to help improve the team to get better. Comes with new ideas, and I think we stayed like more calm than maybe in previous lineups in Mykonos. We stayed more calm. We really fought for the victory together. So yeah, I guess that's a difference maybe.
And then now I want to speak to the loss that you had yesterday against Immortals. I think people were surprised, especially because there was a contrast towards the victory you had the week prior and then coming into this match against Immortals where they had a stand-in. It was a disappointing loss. So can you speak to that loss and what you think went wrong?
I don't know exactly what went wrong. It felt like there were multiple things like a bit off. We felt like we had a pretty good game plan against them, but then again, they were playing with a stand-in. They were doing things maybe a bit different than they would usually do. So maybe I personally overthought some things, or we as a team did. Anyway, we also started with a loss in Mykonos, so we don't feel that bad about it yet. We're just going to focus on today.
All right, last quick question for you. Now you're facing Fnatic. It's win or go home from here on out. So Fnatic is a new lineup. You guys are a new lineup. What are your thoughts?
I feel it's always hard to play against Fnatic. I mean, I haven't played against the new roster yet, I think. But obviously they have really experienced players, and they have some new talent in the mix as well. So I guess it's kind of comparable to our lineup. So it's going to be a lot of fun to play against them.
Well, thank you very much, Chris, and best of luck.
Thank you.
Well, after Chris J quits esports, he should probably send a survivor. I mean, 4 years on the same team and in a tumultuous roster. That's incredible stuff there. I didn't realize it had been so long. Anyway, guys, the teams are ready, so it's time to impress upon you the need for predictions. I'll start with James. Who's having this one?
I think these are exactly the 3 maps that Mousesports want to play. These are maybe the 3 common maps they pick, so I'm going 2-0 Mousesports.
Interesting. Now, Semler, for some reason, has taken to drawing his predictions for this one. Yep, important notes.
He's been in rehab and now expressed his thought.
We have it here. Important
notes.
yep.
Okay, good. What have we got for this one?
This is my prediction.
Okay. What is that? Oh, is that a mouse trap?
And see, they're going after that rare aged Fnatic cheese. You know, you got JW, you got Chris. Okay. It's so tasty, it's so tempting. But I think that with Golden and Lekro, that trap, it's going to close.
All right.
And they're going to be done for 2-0 Fnatic.
Excellent stuff.
I know it's good.
We're gonna put that up for sale a little bit later on. What did you think at home? Let's have a look at the social media results. Who's going to win this game? Let's see who's. Oh, look at that! A lot of people feeling Fnatic. I wonder if that was because of their performance yesterday. 68%, only 32 for Mousesports. We'll see if you're right in just a moment. But first, I must now introduce you to our commentators for this game. A commentary duo that's been described like a before and after on a weight loss commercial. It's Anders and DDK. How you doing, guys?
That's a very good throw, Richard. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
No worries. I love you guys.
We love you too.
Wow.
Yeah, we can do that. I just spent 2 days on Richard's couch, eating and other things too. So we can have a bit of fun. Dan, yes. You are a handsome man, but I'm more interested in your opinions about the game, though. What can we get out of this one?
I'm actually with James. I think the 2-0 is pretty likely. I think it's always going to be quite scrappy, I think, with Fnatic. And I think that was evident yesterday. You know, Fnatic have a lineup which has a lot of individual skill. They are still working in the structure. There's still a lot of work to be done. And not just you know, for the sake of there's a new in-game leader, but the new in-game leader is new at being an in-game leader and at a level he's also new at. So there's a lot to be answered for Fnatic's side. So I really give this to Mousesports.
Well, we're about to find out. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, here. Mousesports versus Fnatic in a best-of-3. And it should be very interesting indeed. I look forward to this game. And the maps are, I think, about as good as you could hope for this kind of a matchup here. So, Right now, Fnatic on the CT side and Mousesports on the T side, all stacked outside of the B bomb site, and they do have just that one smoke down, so that's always a good sign, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely a must here. Block off the position out of the Z connector to get the bomb down, get the players up deep into the train yard here for the Mousesports side. And you can see Rops is the first man there, gaining a lot of ground quite quickly here, going for the challenges. A lot of CTs though, getting that backline secure and connecting the shots, looking pretty good so far actually for Fnatic, and the bomb only freshly planted. Definitely a really good odds here for Fnatic to get the retake going.
Crims is coming in on that high ground as well, and he has the kit, so as long as he stays alive, everything should be fine. Flusher's gone down, but Golden with a good kill on Oscar. That leaves Stico alone. 1 versus 3, and they know where he is, so now they're circling in, and there's Crims with the kill and Fnatic with the round. That's all just great.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Fnatic, they really have to start off with a good economy. Again, for me personally, on paper, I feel like Mousesports have the edge. I feel like if you're in a position where the likes of Oscar and Chris J start to get their hands on the AWPs, they start to get any sort of buffer of rounds to work in and start feeling liberty to take risks, the likes of Oscar and Chris J, they're going to start punishing Fnatic hard with that. So keep them suppressed as long as possible, get the rounds on the board. Fnatic are well positioned to do that, and we'll have to see how well they can play this anti-eco.
Yeah, bad things tend to happen when Oscar picks up that AWP. Nobody wants that on the Fnatic side, so the longer you can postpone that, the better, obviously. And Fnatic, I think, keeping it kind of honest here. 2 SMGs and 3 M4s. The crazy days of the 5 UMPs seems to be a little bit behind us.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a very nice MP9 as well. Very colourful. Looks like some underwear that I have. And we'll see. We'll see whether or not Mousesports can even get a kill here. I mean, Flusher's in a great position to make a lot of money here with this MP9. Feels good, to be honest, when people are running at you with no head armor and you got an MP9.
Yeah, especially underwear colored one. I think that's there's just a lot of material for a Photoshop contest already.
Oh no! Oh my God! What have I done?
Dan in the Hyper Beast underwear. Love to see it.
I've made a terrible mistake.
You have, yeah. But it's all for the memes, Dan. It's all for the memes. Just think about that.
Okay.
They're playing very passively. I mean, Flusher with that, it's almost like you can tell that he just wants to charge in that corner. He's up by the brown holes, but he's being, just a bit reluctant right now. So it's good job, Flusher, not doing anything crazy just yet.
Yeah, a lot of people would have rushed by now, but as you say, patient Flusher. And there are the rewards for such patience. We get an easy lineup there, just knocking down pretty much everybody, making so much money. 4 kills already with the MP9. Oh my God, Flusher is swimming in the cash like a cartoon duck. Scrooge McDuck, in fact. I don't know if you're familiar with Scrooge McDuck, but...
Yes, indeed. That's 5 kills, all of them with the MP9. That's an outrageous amount of money. So it's very well done.
Yeah, really nice to see that for Fnatic. Again, I really feel like they need that great start. And I do feel like it's really important to note how, indeed, there's a lot of respect coming from Flusher there. As you said, he didn't push. A lot of teams might say, I've got the MP9. I can run and gun a bit. I can try to take those engagements. They won't have head armor.
Well, I would have said the older version of Fnatic would have done it. Like, I mean, I'm wondering, maybe I'm reading too much into it. I'm wondering if that's like the golden influence, I think the one with Olaf Meister and the rest would have been a bit more aggressive, but we'll see what happens now. Mousesports have gone for the 3rd round by, no big surprise. That does mean they don't have the AW on Oscar. It's a good trade there. Let Crow for Sunny. Slipped in a 4-on-4. JW with an important kill, but Stico instantly with a refrag. That's a very nice job. He gets flashed, but he did see JW, so you wanted to try and take a guess. I mean, that's better than nothing. It leaves Rops and Chris J, and Chris is going to win that fight. It goes down again. It's just trading back and forth into a 1 versus 1, and out in the open, Rops goes down to Golden. Man, that just didn't end. It was just one long sequence of trading.
Yeah, and that's really cool. I do love that Mousesports opted to go for that. I think it's really important when you get the AKs on that 3rd round that because the other team is going to be maybe with some FAMAS, they're going to have some SMG still. They can't really play those ranges. So if you can get onto the A site like they did, you can play deathmatch, and that favors you massively as a tease. So it's really surprising that Fnatic were able to actually win that round. As you said, went down to the Golden. And Golden, I mean, we don't expect him to have the individual skill and capabilities of his teammates, but he seems to be really pulling his weight there. So that's really great for Fnatic.
And based on the fact that it was a 1 versus 1, even without the bomb plant, Mousesports have actually gone for a buy in this round. So that in itself is interesting. They know that the Fnatic economy is going to be low. They want to keep the pressure up. They have a lot of grenades here, but flusha and Lekr are both on the side. This is a good read from Fnatic. And they partly know this because JW pushed into main. So I love everything about this right now for the Swedish side. This is great play.
Yeah, and how quickly will Mousesports be here? Because again, as you say, JW is going to be lurking in the back. He's going to have to start running now because Mousesports have actually tried to push her at a good timing. But we have some counter grenades to slow things down a little bit. That smoke grenade up high is blocking Rops, which will make things slightly easier for Fnatic. But still, you've got to worry about a charging Oscar. But Lekr is in position to deal with that. And indeed, that smoke causing problem. Rops is in position up here, but he's only got a P250. And Fnatic will easily bear down upon him. Only losing flusha, who previously has made a huge amount of money off of these SMG kills, so he's going to be very happy.
Yeah, no problem for him at all. I wonder if this was worth it for the Mousesports team. They did get the bomb plant down, so at least they could still sort of go for a buy here. But that was only 1 kill, and I'm not looking that they got a bit more money than I was sort of expecting. So only really Oscar without the grenade. So it's good calculation, good money management for Mousesports actually. I was worried that they were going to be lacking in this round, but they've done the math. They've done the hard work, Dan.
And speaking of hard work, Oscar's in a position to do a lot of that. And we talked about him earlier, saying when Oscar has that AWP, things can get problematic for any team. So I'm very curious how Fnatic will sort of approach this, whether they'll play it passively. Obviously, JW, one of the best aggressive AWPers you can ask for. Oh my God, just being launched there with the run boost. Love that. But usually that's to go over the scoping CT, so that the scoping CT doesn't see that you're going to come from that angle on the other side. So JW actually spotted that with his positioning. So really smart stuff there, understanding the metagame, how to play the alley position correctly, and Fnatic are in a great position still.
How did they manage to get that fast?
It did look a bit, it's like he hit the NOS button or something.
Yeah, that was almost comical, wasn't it? Just weird. Stiko setting up for a smoke grenade. Crim's putting up one of his own, trying to make sure that they can't easily get down. Stiko got to run right through with the AK and take his face off. And that will be 4 versus 5 now. Rops opening up on Golden. Fnatic in a bad spot right now. JW and flusha not quite sure what to do. Stiko a bit paranoid, and somehow it's a 2-on-3. There should be a bomb plant for Mousesports, quick and easy, and then get back and defend it.
Yeah, they've got all the positions post-plant that they want. It's a really nice spot for them. flusha, he's given away his position towards the connector area. And I think that they do know where JW is at the back trains. But as I say that, Oscar exposes himself fully to flusha, so perhaps they weren't quite aware as to his position. And that's an in now for Fnatic as they start to creep forwards. And JW can try to offer cover there towards Popdog as flusha goes in for the play now. Grenades in, flusha over the bomb train, looking for the first frag. That's a great connection. And they will just offer themselves up to flusha. And now he can tap the bomb. Is he going to go for the hold here? Pulling off, and he baits out Rops. Beautiful play there from flusha and JW to secure the round.
Oh, man. flusha, he used to have an incredible record of clutching in big games, big tournaments, major tournaments. This is, yeah, a little bit of a throwback almost, because I feel like it's been sort of a while, but there were some critical mistakes here for Mousesports. flusha got the first kill on, I think, Stiko, who was looking up towards the sniper spot, so they knew for sure where flusha was. And as you said, Oscar's still out in the open, not caring about that position. That was...
Yeah, that's a weird one.
Lack of communication almost, it seemed like.
Yeah, it could very well be the case. And it's definitely going to suck for Mousesports, but they do offer up a buy in this round. They're just without an AWP. I'll have to see what they decide to do, whether they'll take the pace quickly or slowly, and how they try to push Fnatic around. But they'll know that Fnatic have at least one AWP. Lekr has picked himself up an AWP as well, so it's going to be quite curious to see as to what Fnatic will be doing here setup-wise. You can see Lekr is playing quite far back by connector, pretty standard, and flusha very close there as well. And Rops is creeping out. Love players like this, but can he find something? flusha with a free frag there and a second. You can't let that happen. 3 for flusha. He's still alive, but not for too much longer, but he's already done enough.
Oh my god, if you're a Mousesports fan, you've got to be worried about flusha looking this good. He is an absolute world-class player. It's just that with all the roster changes and everything else that's been going on, he seems to have sort of faded a bit into the background. I don't think he's ever had like a complete sort of fade away where he just wasn't playing well at all, but wasn't the highlights that we've seen in the past. This is quite something else. Another 3 kills for him. He did die in the end, but he's got 14 kills in 6 rounds. That's outrageous.
Looks pretty good, doesn't it? Yeah. I think it was the short Pleasant area of Fnatic where he looked the worst, but ever since then, it's never really dropped too much in form. He's always been such an intelligent and very strong player. So it's still a salvageable situation here for Mousesports. They can get some damage in, maybe create a situation for a plant. In fact, a plant is being attempted right now by Oscar. A dink is made onto Chrisjay, but Chrisjay gets the kill. A real opportunity has opened up now for Mousesports.
It could be done. Oscar, he's on the bomb side, a bit of an uncomfortable position. JW giving away his spot there with the grenade popping out, scoping up with the AWP. Chris is hiding in the smoke on the other side, and that's a good kill for Oscar, turning around and looking for a second headshot. Crims is coming in from Popdog as well, trying to walk through the smoke right behind Chrisjay, and Chris goes down. Oscar next in line. Crims with the perfect flank, even at 15 health. And with the defuse kit, he's going to have just enough time here. So that was close. That could have definitely been Mousesports' round.
Yeah, that smoke play, that is great stuff, isn't it? I mean, you don't expect to see a CT walking through that. Because the initial purpose of thinking, oh, it's being thrown because they think that we're there, so they want to make it more difficult for us to play that angle. But in reality, it has that second option of you just never expecting a CT to actually flank you from there. So that was pretty dirty stuff there from Fnatic, and that will give them the 6th round to the nil of Mousesports. They got the maximum loss bonus coming, so they'll have a lot of buys to offer up, but still, they need to find a way to win rounds here. Fnatic are looking amazing.
Just the money alone, that double AWP setup. Mousesports, one of their huge strengths is obviously Oscar on that AWP, especially on a T side like this. Have him open up. They've only had it the one time and it didn't really work out. So, I mean, the money is a problem for them. They need that rifle on Oscar, I feel like. There's Sunny opening up, though, on Crims, who was trying to be aggressive. Lekro goes down as well, so now things are looking a little bit better. Golden with a really important refrag, taking down Oscar. Still a 3-on-3, so I think Mousesports are going to be happy about all this trading, though.
Yeah, I love that trade timing from Stiko. Really good peek. Had to be quick, and he was. And we're in a 3-on-3, so it's a great situation for Mousesports with a minute to play with. The defense of Fnatic is very thin, so they're going to take risks, and the risk is not going to pay off. Stiko snapping Flusher's neck there, but JW hears them running. Is Sunny going to look for this? He is. JW's got to be so careful. Somehow he seems to realize that something's up on this position. Are you really trying to do this, JW? You're absolutely insane. Trying to play with his opponent there. Sunny is going to hold onto the Popdog ladder position as the bomb goes down, and Mousesports in that 3v2 looking good.
Why is he climbing the ladder with an AWP trying to no-scope people?
He's JW, man.
This is so stupid, isn't it? The problem is, if it was anybody else, we'd say, well, he's lost his mind, but we've seen JW do really mad things in the past, so you sort of want to give him the benefit of the doubt. It didn't work this time, and they will lose the round. So finally, Mousesports are on the scoreboard here, 6-1, and it seemed like Fnatic were really trying to be very aggressive in this round, and Mousesports were... to their credit, sort of, you know, they saw it coming, got the better trades, and worked out for them. It's not like they employed any kind of really deep strat. Yeah, they just got good trades, but that's good.
Oh yeah, it's just some good fundamentals, isn't it? Good awareness, not letting the loss of the round sort of kind of shake you in any sense and mess up your focus. And I think Mousesports, they seem very confident. Of course, they are coming off that win of Mykonos, which was being talked about. Chrisjay is like, yeah, we're fine that we lost the game yesterday. We lost the first game at Mykonos too, so it's not really too much of a worry for us. And generally speaking, Mousesports are a team that will play very effectively on the CT side. I think they may be more dangerous there when you can play defensively with the with Oscar and Chris's orbs.
I must say, I did love the interview with Smix saying, you've been in Mousesports for 4 years and this is your first win.
Yeah, that frames things up quite interestingly, doesn't it?
I love it. Lekro somehow getting a kill on Robs and a failed run boost. That could have been very dangerous, but let's just pretend he was meant to do that. JW will refrag him. That was a silly jump from Oscar. And now it's a 4 versus 3. Like, I hate everything about what just happened. I hate the failed run boost. I hate the fact that he got the kill anyway, and then he threw it away.
How do you feel, Anders? How do you feel?
It's nothing but hatred, Dan, at this point. I'm not loving it. JW is sneaking out. The timing is outrageous. JW just feeling very aggressive.
This is kind of insane, isn't it? He's going to go take the AK because he wants to continue the aggression even further. This is absolutely mad stuff from JW. They have the man advantage. They don't have to. It just frankly doesn't have to do this. And that's sort of why it works, because you don't expect it. But the risk is huge here for Fnatic to do this. But it's going to work, of course.
Sunny is trying to play at the edge. JW's decided to double down on his aggression and spraying through the smoke.
Still pushing.
Regardless.
Why is he doing this?
Oh my god. You have to just... From Mousesports, this is so frustrating.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you're a Fnatic fan and if you're watching in their glory era when they beat absolutely everybody for a very long time, this is how they played. Like this kind of playing. It was one of the reasons why they were so hard to control. Because who can predict that? How do you, there's nothing in your strat book that says, oh yeah, just remember it could be that JW is going to push Ivy alone with an AWP and then trade it out for an AK and smoke it. Like it's just too weird, you know.
Yeah. It's very true. But that's the thing, too. I mean, to us, you know, we're like, oh, God, you know, this looks really ridiculous. And this is not sort of how you play the basics of Counter-Strike. But at the highest level, at the professional level, you have players that create the exception to the rule. And you have players that know themselves very well. They know that they can make this play consistently. JW has historically been that kind of player. So it's I love that he plays within his comfort zone, because that's when you'll get the best out of him, too.
And I think, because we talked about Flusher sort of being a bit outside of his level in the past, you know, 6 months or something. But I would say JW also looked for a long time like someone who had sort of lost his confidence, and he's been bringing it back. So it's really encouraging. I really like seeing it. He's a really great guy, Jesper. So we've got a tactical timeout being brought in here for Mousesports. The scoreline is 7-1. You could understand that, Dan, surely. They've just had their economy completely crushed and broken.
Yeah, this is the crazy thing to me, because I know Mousesports know it, you know, everybody who is following Mousesports knows it, that if they get to that CT side, they can win loads of rounds. They're going to be very comfortable to do so. Of course, they'll need a little bit of luck against the likes of Fnatic, but still. So, but if you only get like 1 or 2 rounds on that T half, then things are a bit too tight. So definitely need that timeout. They obviously have that AK on Stico to work with, and they will be able to actually get a kill out there. But still, we have Fnatic in a position of strength.
Oscar sneaking in with a deagle in hand. He's not going to be able to win the fight, but we do have another classic here, which is JW and Pop Dog with a Max 7. Used to be so good with it sneaking up. Oh no! Robs realizes there's someone right behind him. That was like out of a horror movie. You could see the hairs stand up in Robs' neck, just saying, oh my god, it's right behind me. The JW, Stico and Chris, and an amazing air control from Chris to get the bunny jumps in. But it will still be a double kill for JW and a triple for Crims, and Fnatic winning the round easily.
Yeah, nothing really going the way of Mousesports here so far today. That will bode very well for Fnatic in this series. We'll have to see if they can keep things going into that second half. And Mousesports, we haven't seen much in the way of just hitting up those set pieces, you know, just on the A or B bomb sites. They've been trying to play these defaults, trying to play map control, trying to get Oscar to get picks, and he's not been coming up with anything. The best thing that he had was a trade, and it ended up being JW just winning the round anyway. So it's not really been happening for Mousesports. Here he goes again on the for that the alley pick again.
Yeah, he really wants it. They're gonna go for the run boost. JW not trying to flick it, but they at least know where he is. So it looks like it's intentional that it's a different one from the one you were talking about, which I agree is the most common one, where you try and avoid getting sort of spotted jumping over. But Oscar doesn't care, just looking for the fight, I guess.
Yeah, and JW's only scoping once as well. A lot of the AWPers scope twice, and that's how you can also more consistently get over the reticle. And so that's a really smart choice of JW there.
Tech9 on Stico. Not every day now that we get to see it. But I don't mind it. I think it could be quite useful still in a lot of circumstances. Now, Mousesports have waited around for a long time, and they haven't really seen any aggression out of Fnatic, so maybe they can finally go for a set piece here.
Here goes Stico with that Tech9, and he'll get eliminated straight away. Crims in a forward position. That's how you deal with these pushes, because you want to split. Well, the grenades of the CTs, they prevent the split, and then you got a man just cutting them up, like cutting off all the heads of the Hydra, as it were, and they are not growing back at the moment. It's just Sunny who's left. Oh, you hate to see that. Oh, man, we've all been there. It's harder to shoot them if they're not facing you. It's a rule. It's a rule of the universe, Anders.
Yes, it is. Everyone's tried that at least a couple of times, but in a big match like this, you really don't want to have that happen. Although, admittedly, he was in a 1 versus 4, so even if you got the kill, you have to think that probably wasn't on Sunny. So 9-1, my God. When I saw the community vote that it was that heavy in favor of Fnatic, I thought, all right, calm down, guys. You know, everyone just take a deep breath. I'm sure it's gonna be, you know, a pretty tight game. Yeah. I was thinking all 3 maps in this series actually. Still am maybe, but right now Fnatic are making a very convincing case for Swedish Counter-Strike. My, how we've missed it, Dan. Where's it gone?
Yeah, definitely. It's really been in a weird place for quite some time, and looking forward to seeing what this edition of Fnatic can do. That's a good start from Stico, though. The spray comes in from flusha. Can't get it all done, but he's done a very big portion of damage, but the bomb will be planted, and that's a great opportunity here for Mousesports. They can absolutely get something done here. Oscar's got an AK. Sure, he's got no armor, and there is a CT creeping close. It is actually Crims. Crims could just dismantle all of this. Oscar won't turn around. He really needed to, and now Crims is in a very strong position.
It's a good idea with the Molotov down there, but they do have a smoke on Golden, so he should be able to cancel it out. They're not under any real stress here because the bomb was only just planted. Now they come down the ramp. Robs has got a kill. Still plenty of time here for Crims, who's going to hold it down and put JW in front and take that fight. So good job for JW. He actually survives on 1 health. That's a very close round. I'd say that's a great round for Mousesports. They do a lot of damage, put the bomb down. Now all they need is the last 4 rounds.
Yeah,
that's all we're asking.
They really do need all of those rounds too. I mean, you can't, with Fnatic in this kind of a shape and this kind of confidence, you need everything you can get. They can just, and they've already shown us that they can just win. They can sort of, again, like just tear the rule book in half and just be like, yeah, we're just going to win this round. When we don't have the tools to do it, we're just going to find some weird way to do it. We've got players like flusha, like JW and so on to make that happen. Lecro as well, give him a deagle. You never know what will happen. But let's see if Mousesports can get off to a good start here. They are going to toss out some smokes towards the A site, but there goes the pick from JW. They probably didn't expect him to be playing so far in towards that main angle.
Well, especially because they had actually smoked it off immediately. JW ran through the smoke to get the kill on Oscar, who was wanting a fight in main, but not the one that he got here. So Sunny's gone down as well, and there's Chris J to follow with the bomb down at the open, and it's a great boost attempt here inside of the smoke, but now they definitely know. Oh, good kill on flusha. Robs, creative play here for Mousesports. I'm still not going to help them that much because the bomb is out in that A yard. So what do you do here, Dan? How do you get out of this one?
I love this, though, from Robs. He had the right idea that he understood that if he was really fast, he would beat out any rotation to check the flank, and he could have gotten a forward position. He was just ever so close to making it past that train. Then there's a real chance because then Stico can wait for Robs to make the play, and Robs can very likely get a kill there, and then the round's possible. But again, Counter-Strike is a game at the smallest margins, and that is ridiculous. From JW, you gotta love that. Man, it's so good to see him in great form. I have to say I've missed it.
Yeah, it was just back in the day, it was just never boring to watch JW play Counter-Strike, was it? Like, it was always gonna be something weird, something crazy. And then, we always said, even when they were at their highest, everyone always said, it is very confidence-driven, and what happens when that confidence fades away? Well, so did a lot of the impact of his style. Now, if it's back, well, that's bad news for everybody.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Mousesports, failing to get the opportunity to have 4 rounds, but now they can try to get those 3. They have a scout on Oscar, and Oscar's really not been delivering so far in the way that Mousesports have wanted him to and have positioned him to. But perhaps with a bomb rush, they can make it work here. 3 players dropping down from up high there into the B-bomb site. flusha wrapping around the train, has support there from the likes of Lecro, and the bomb will hit the ground there as now Mousesports need to collect it. It's in no man's land, and Oscar has to win these battles with a scout, of all things.
It's just not easy. He will get the bomb plant down, and Chris is there to help him out. But the fact is, they don't have any grenades. Well, Oscar's picked up a smoke right then, so maybe that will buy a bit of time, but I don't think quite enough. Crims is coming in on the flank, so if Chris doesn't look the right way, it's all going to be done. He pushes down the ramp, and he's going to get shot in the back as well. There's Crims. So another round here for Fnatic. Listen, I feel like We're trying our best to sugarcoat it, Dan. We're trying to make this look like Mousesports are still, you know, there's still a way out of this, but I'm starting to doubt that very much.
Yeah, me too. And it's madness. I really felt like Mousesports had a really huge edge into this series, but they have not been able to find anything that's really working for them. And it is interesting. I mean, I've seen Mousesports in the past struggle sometimes when Oscar's been on the lineup, when they're saying, okay, Oscar, we are going to, you know, our game plan is for you to open things up with that AWP. Because if you consider that they got a bad start, so they didn't get as many AWPs as early as they would have liked anyway. And then when he is making those plays, JW, he's either done his homework, a mix of that and the confidence, and he's just besting Oscar. We haven't seen good sort of like plan Bs, as it were, you know, developments from that disadvantageous position that Mousesports then are put in, and Fnatic always just closed down the advantage. And that's been the story for me.
And I mean, it is great to see JW at this level. The weird thing is Oscar is that kind of AWP too. So you'd think it'd be a really fiery battle, but it's almost all gone JW's way. Very strange to see. I mean, it's only map 1, but it's very one-sided right now. 12-1, and Golden sneaking down towards Ivy. Gonna have a fight against Chris over there any second, and also Flusher on the ramp over at B. He goes down to Rob, so now this match for this fight for Golden is gonna be huge, and Chris will win it. That's not bad at all.
This is a beautiful pace here from Mousesports, quick into the B-bomb site, getting the entries they need, and blink of an eye, and 3 players for Fnatic are gone, wiped off the map. Sitting on the bench, patiently awaiting the next one, as they are now looking at their teammates being smoked off and unable to really make plays into that B-bomb site to get much done. JW, though, doesn't matter. A smoke, no problem. He's JW, but he will fall afoul to Sunny. He was waiting patiently for that play, and that's around a second round for Mousesports. They needed second round.
That's slightly absurd, isn't it? You lose 6 rounds in a row, and before that, you also lost 6 rounds in a row. And then the one round that you finally with the second round that you win, it's flawless. No one goes down. That's almost a little bit bittersweet, because you feel like if you had just had that earlier, maybe something could have been working out. But now Fnatic have all the money, and we're in the 15th round here. Everything is working out so well for the Swedish side. This is looking like a very powerful Fnatic.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And we might have an aggression here from JW on the alley, but he's got a lot of players to deal with, and he misses the shot. Rops will behead him, as the rest of Mousesports now know that that's the cue to go, and Chris J will do exactly that. That's stunning stuff there from Chris J. 2 heads rolling all around the A-bomb site there by Ali. Lekro can't really do too much, gets himself a kill, but it is all down to Flush in a 1v4. We've seen it before, but from this position...
Good shot from Flusher, but he will get down by Rops for a 12-3 finish in favor of Fnatic. I have to point out that you can still shoot under that bomb train. I keep trying to explain it to people, and no one ever does it. It's really annoying. We'll see if anyone's going to do it in the second half. It's going to come up right after the break, so stay with us, and we'll be right back.
Bleacher Report connects you to the stories, teams, athletes, and moments that matter in sports culture. Download the free Bleacher Report app and stay dialed in to the teams and topics you care about most.
Yes, indeed, Dan. Here we are, Fnatic and Mousesports in a best-of-3 to decide who gets to go and face Immortals. That's going to be later today. The winner, the loser goes out. This is everything on the line. And as you can tell here, flusha with 143 ADR. What? He's got more than double the ADR of Robs there. What's happened?
Yeah, flusha, he's having a game. He's having quite the game. Had a great start, and it really sort of set up the space for JW to do whatever he wanted to. And it seemed like Oscar and JW always met each other. And that seems somewhat rare for it to be so consistent as that. Perhaps the teams knew it, or perhaps it's coincidence. Who knows? Either way, it's a new half, it's a new dawn, it's a new day. Mousesports need this pistol victory very badly, Anders.
Yes, without that, then all the dreams, at least on train, disappear quick. Oscar with an incredibly bold position here. The Glocks are going to be close by the time he engages, and he's going to have no backup, and that dink is just the end of him immediately. Gets gooshed, and he's gone. Rops goes down as well, long range. They've stolen, or they should be stealing one of the USPs. I think Crims is going to go and pick it up. Chris has got a good headshot there, taking down flusha, and that's now an important 3 versus 3 here. Long smoke to try and block them off, and Sunny executing Lekro. Is he some sort of secret agent? Another one comes in, taking down Golden. That's miraculous play coming out from Sunny. It's surgical right now. Crims gets one on Sunny, and inside of the smoke, he can't get it. The defuse is going to go through, and Mouse will win it in a very, very intense round.
Yeah, flusha was so close. Oh man, if he gets the kill on the diffuser there, that is a very different situation. But Mousesports do pick up that much-needed pistol round. And when you highlighted Oscar's position there, I was thinking to myself the same thing. I was like, oh god, this is we know what's going to happen here. We know what's going to happen. And
this play from Sunny though is where was that in the first half? I feel like we saw almost none of that, but that was just great play from him.
Yeah, it was a very tumultuous first half. So it was hard for Mousesports to get into positions to use their players, and see if they can do better here on the defensive side. Oscar will spot the bulk of the push into that B-bomb site. Can make the call to his teammates. He's got Rops there with the Fan support. This is awkward. Highly awkward, but somehow... Oh, okay, there it is. flusha will take them both down, but no bomb planted, and 3 players will survive at the end. So I was really afraid there that... I mean, what's going on, Anders? They're both just crouched in the corner there.
They're jumping on his face as well. It's... I
don't know.
Everything has just gone mad in this game, but...
Reminded me of Takeshi's Castle, you know, people all over the place.
Yeah, it's unseemly, unfit for broadcast. It's but luckily it's going Mousesports' way. So something is working. 5 to 12. I mean, it does seem like a big gap, but we've seen crazier things. We've seen weirder comebacks in the past. So let's give Mousesports the benefit of the doubt here and see if they can pick something up. They are against AKs, and they do have a scout and a FAMAS, so they just got to survive this scare and see if they can make it past the AKs. Then they'll be in a decent spot.
Yeah, so now we can see just that slower play with those AKs to begin with. But as I mentioned in the last half, it can be really common in this round, the third round of the half, that you'll see the AKs just run into A. And I love this response from the Mousesports side. They try to play close to main. It's not quite working out, though. JW gets a spray down onto 2 players. Sunny and Chris J will fall a foul to his AK-47. And now Fnatic are in a great position to just clinch the W in this round.
5 versus 3 again. Should not be that easy for Fnatic to get this kind of an opening. Stiko and Oscar, they're out in the A yard, but they're quite far away from each other. They can't refrag. If anyone goes down, there's not going to be any kind of revenge happening. Oscar is rotating the long way around, but this close with a scout. If it was an AWP, sure, maybe. But with a scout, you're going to need a couple of shots, so that's one of them. Goes for a second. Stiko's actually taking down Lekro, and they make it work. That's almost miraculous now. Stiko moving a bit closer. JW a bit panicked on the side. The shadow shows, but JW still going to get the kill on Stiko.
That's number 3 for him, and JW's having a hell of a round. And Rops will do his best to clutch this one, but he's spotted out by flusha, and flusha is not going to offer any sympathy to Rops there. And this is kind of insane. I really liked the idea from Mousesports. I think, you know, you've got the worst weapons. You don't want to play against the AKs at range, close them down, try to play a 2v1, but somehow JW gets 2 kills there. Still, they almost brought the round back, but But this is a problem that Mousesports aren't delivering from that individual level that you need against Fnatic.
But if they weren't already in trouble then, they certainly are now. No head armor on anybody, that might be forgivable. The lack of grenades, still worse. And then the fact that they have, again, the Scout, the 5-7, the UMP, all very bad signs here for Mousesports on Train. This could come to a very quick halt here. Fnatic are looking like the team to make it out maybe second in the group now. I'm even wondering about their game against Immortals. I mean, Brazilian team have got to be watching this thinking, oh God, what are they doing?
Yeah, it's quite a funny one, isn't it? I mean, I still believe there's a chance here for Mousesports. I mean, we'll have to see if they can convert on this.
Oh my God.
Oops, that was not supposed to happen, but he played it off.
Yes.
Everything's fine.
Pretend like nothing happened. Move on. Nobody saw that except for the thousands of people watching. Necro's going to be left down there. Sunny stepping on the flames. Going to be very careful. It does look like the bomb is making its way up the white holes, so a bit of an indication that they might be grouping up for an attack. It's 40 seconds left, and Crims has taken over Pop Dog here. A huge stack in the A yard right now for Mousesports. They've left Rops alone over at the other side, and that might be about to cost them.
Yeah, Mousesports, if they get some information right now, they could adjust their positioning to have fast flanks and sort of have people in the right positions. But right now, the positions they have are awful. They're defending against a B bomb site attack. It's going to be very difficult for them to do much. They need to stop or get some kills before the bomb is planted, but that's just not the case here. Fnatic have made the absolute best read. They've doubled themselves back into A at the same time as well. Really smart stuff from Fnatic, just completely catching Mousesports and outplaying them individually once again.
Oh, well, Oscar gets one with a headshot. Rops get one with the UMP. That suddenly does leave it in a 2 versus 2. This is a very tricky round. A lot of things could have gone wrong. That's good audio use of Crims taking down Rops, who was running around, stomping all over the place. And that just leaves Oscar with a scout, trying to see if he can fight for it. Another headshot. What is wrong with this guy? Crims now with a triple, and the bomb is going to be defused. 8 seconds left. It's a long time, but Oscar will do it for the triple. 2 of them scout headshots, and still he does not have the time. He's going to have to make a run for it. This is too heartbreaking, isn't it?
Oh, that's absolutely heart-wrenching stuff. Oscar, man. Those are some fantastic shots off the scout. And that's the Oscar we've been wanting to see. That's the Oscar that we know is the big danger for Fnatic, but if he's getting going this late into the first map, it is a bit too late, perhaps. I mean, we'll see. It remains to be seen. We've seen a lot of crazy comebacks in the last couple of days, so why not this one as well? And Oscar's carrying that AK that he saved. But otherwise, the buy is pretty awful for Mousesports. And they may try to play aggressively again. I like that they have usually 4 players in the yard, but look at this play out of Fnatic, just rushing Golden in there. He'll get taken down. Is this a start of something for Mousesports?
I love the idea. Oh,
whoa, okay.
Shh, calm down. What's going on? This whole game has just been like this. Why is it so strange? Crims with just a moment of complete confusion, taking down his teammate. There was not even a reason for it. Flusher, though, is bringing it back, and Crims as well. They've all managed to get themselves together after the initial shock, and now they're opening up the yard. It's just Rops left behind the bomb train and very exposed to the 1 versus 2. JW will bring it home for a 15-5 lead. I was, before Crims derailed the whole conversation, I was about to say the one thing that was bad about this rush from Golden initially is that the 3 men that were pushing Ivy were like 5 seconds after him.
Yeah,
now, if he's out there taking all the sort of control of the yard, even if he dies, that's fine if he's just opening up, but there was like it was a bit disjointed.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, Crims is pretty rabid right now. He's frothing at the mouth. He just wants to just get his hands on anything, anyone. And, I mean, it's working out for Fnatic. He got a bunch of kills in that round. He's going to now be helping his team out as they push the A yard, getting those pickoffs, playing that aim DM here, which you can so commonly and effectively do when you've got those AKs in hand. And so far, it's working out well. They've lost a player, but look at all the ground they've gained. And now the opportunities are starting to rain in. They're starting to come to fruition here for the Fnatic side. And they are very, very good to win this round, I think, and map 1 in this series. But Oscar through the smoke like a ninja. Shinobi Oscar able to get 2 and stop the plant. Has he done enough for Stico?
Who has a scout? I mean, it's very doubtful he can win this 1 versus 2 against Lekro and Flusher. This is such a dominant performance here from Fnatic in the first map. Surely going to be a bit of a rollback for everybody watching in the good old days. Great headshot from Stico. That might be the first step in the right direction. He's now picked up the AK-47, but again, he does not have the defuse kit, and Flusher just hiding behind the back lane train there, just staying out of sight. Stico's going to have to wait a very long time for this defuse, and the peak for Flusher as well. He's trying it again, and Flusher this time is going to come, just take a look and realize he's not defusing yet. And I think this is it. There's no more time. It doesn't matter any longer if he gets the kill. Stico is a great attempt, but it will be 16-5 in favor of Fnatic as they take down Mousesports on map number 1 here at E-League Group B. I mean, this is... I haven't seen Fnatic play this well for a while.
This is really surprising stuff. I don't think most of us expected it to be so dominant, or even if, even for Fnatic to win, we had Mousesports at the edge, and right now they might feel like they're on the edge of a precipice as nothing was working, and they are really with their backs against the wall as they follow things up. Chris J, he said in the interview that he was having troubles reading his opponents yesterday. Is it the same today? We'll have to see after the break whether or not he'll be able to fix it.
So, despite doing well in Mykonos, Mousesports have had a pretty torrid time here in Atlanta, Georgia. Not looking great in E-League. They find themselves 1 map down in this must-win best-of-3 against Fnatic. Meanwhile, Fnatic with a new in-game leader in the form of Golden. Been looking pretty golden. Really performed well. Close game against North. Could have probably gone either way. And now just a dominant performance, spearheaded by some vintage Flusher.
Yeah, there was a lot of action from Flusher early on, but also they just had great aggression, Fnatic, on their CT side. Lekro and JW being very, very aggressive, not shy to use spawn timings to run through early smokes from the T side and get early picks. We saw some great snaps from JW around the map, but again, Flusher had outstanding performances, and this was one of a few rounds which came down to the wire. They were really close, and they could have gone either way, but Flusher had a massive impact. He had 7 kills in 2 rounds. That was the last 3 of them there, and that really crushed the first half for Mousesports.
Yeah, were you surprised a little bit by this?
I was surprised to see the veterans on Fnatic have that confidence again. Because when you're talking about JW, when you're talking about Flush, when you're talking about Crims, right? They shouldn't have any respect for Mousesports. They used to just like toss Mousesports into the trash bin every tournament on a regular basis. And so why should a player like Flusha be worried when he's going up against the likes of Mousesports? So I'm glad to see that we finally get to, get that irreverent, flanker, lurker, just God coming back into the mix and really laying Mousesports low and telling them, listen, I don't need to fear you. You need to fear me.
Yeah, I mean, just a crazy performance. I mean, Crims on any other day probably would have been a standout performer there. Fletcher was just so good, but honestly, there just wasn't really anything that was going wrong there for Fnatic and Mousesports on their map, their pick. Just looked a non-factor. Really, really shocked that it just wasn't even a little bit more competitive,
They were definitely choked out of their T side. They were not afforded any of the freedoms that they used to, that they like. Chris J, again, I like to say that he's notorious for running into the train yard and causing problems, but he wasn't allowed to do that. We saw one, I think the second last or the last round, where he was able to do that through the Ivy position. But Flusher and Co, they were just all over the A train yard, and Mousesports weren't allowed to do what they're comfortable doing, what they're used to doing.
And that was going to be my next question, James. How is it Fnatic were able to kind of shut down Mousesports? Usually what you see is Oscar will just kind of run out and, get some picks, or, Chris J will do a push, and something will come together, something will happen for them, but there was just literally nothing. I mean, it was crazy.
Oh, is that
yeah?
I mean, James is staying focused in on you.
Yeah, James just likes to look at me. He knows true beauty when he sees it.
Yeah, it is hard. It is hard.
I know. I'm sorry to be so distracting.
I'm just glad to see what's happening right here. Jumpy with the notes. He has been one of the key factors here, I think, into bringing back Fnatic to a competitive force. Just because we're seeing more and more reliance on the analysts and coaches rather. Jumpy really stepped in to fill Vugo's shoes in that front, and he's stuck with the team since. And it seems like him and Golden, Golden isn't even looking away, not blinking. Flush on JW, yeah. They may be kind of like going back and forth in their chairs a little bit. But Golden and Jumpy, they seem to have a good rapport going, and that's going to be important moving forward here for Fnatic. You have these in-game leaders like what? I guess Zeus and Kane is the one that we talked about most recently, just because of how things went down with Na'Vi. But where you have a strong analyst, you have a strong in-game leader, and the fact that they can bounce off of each other, that's going to be very important for Fnatic.
So, do you feel they kind of maybe anti-threated Mousesports here to some degree?
I mean, perhaps if Flusha, right? I mean, if this is what we were talking about, right? Chris J not having the space to move in yard, not having the room to move, that could be something very much so where they're like, how do they usually approach their T side? Right? Okay, Flusha, go wreck them.
Yeah, Fnatic, they were in all the right places. You saw some big fights towards Pop Dog as well. I think it was Robs who tried to get down ladder fast, and he just got shot in the face immediately. There was a pick by Oscar towards Ivy, but he immediately gets traded by a second CT player. So Fnatic always had the answers for whatever Mousesports were trying to achieve in the A bomb site, and there was nothing left after that for Mousesports. They got 3 rounds in that first half.
I really wish that Jumpy actually had the magazine that Flusha was reading right when he was preparing. Donald Duck. If he was just sitting there in that, instead of having like a thing of notes, he just had this waving it around.
I was wondering what magazine you were talking about.
Flush is there nodding. Yes. Okay, that's how we do it.
Yeah, I do remember the Donald Duck comic. Well, I mean,
such a great meme.
Let's talk just a little bit more about Fletcher. I mean, he has been in the wilderness for a little bit, but I mean, certainly coming back, this is as good a performance as I've seen out of him for a while. And just talking on one map, and what really enabled him to have it? I mean, it just seems so kind of out of the blue.
Well, when Olafmeister was still on the team, there are, right, when you get interviews, etc., right, you hear that they were kind of butting heads as to who gets to do what role, all right, and so, I mean, he's Olafmeister, and it's like, Flush is not really going to be able to just go to Olafmeister and be like, actually, no, get on the bench, or you're going to go over here, right? There's going to be a little bit of contention there. So perhaps Golden, Jumpy, they're coming into it now where they're like, Flusha, you have the space. Olaf isn't here anymore. You get to take all of these spots, all the spots that you want. And this is potentially what we could see here from Flusha. He's always had it in him. He's always been a monster.
Sure.
And so now perhaps the team is giving him more room to show that.
It's not just the sheer numbers either that he was racking up there, but it's the impact of those frags.
Again, absolutely. 2
very key rounds, round 5 and 6, where if Mousesports win one of those 2 rounds, I mean, they were doing good damage to the C2 economy despite losing the round. So there was a chance for them to get back into the half. But those 2 rounds, those monster frags, 7 kills in those 2 rounds, really kept Fnatic in that W column and put them very far ahead.
Yes, you can see Fnatic getting ready for the next map. I'm also been told that I think I know what's coming. We're talking about the new E-League logo. And there it is. Yes, I had a feeling this was going to happen. No, you're never going to see that again. Never happening again.
No. This is the internet.
My corporate taskmasters, they said, you know, hey, we got all the young guys around here. You know, we'll get them around the stage. You know, try and communicate with the youth. Perhaps dab. You know, that's how the kids do it. So I was like, I'd rather not do that. They said it's definitely in your contract that you have to give us at least one dab. And I did it, and now I'm never.
Did Henry write the contract, or what? What was this?
I don't know. I you know, I don't read the small print.
You should get danger money for that, to be honest.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty good, right? But I actually do like that. So yeah, you can. I'm definitely not doing it.
You just got told.
Dab. No, it's not happening. You can shape that into my tombstone, and that's how I want to be remembered. Anyway, look, speaking of tombstones, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to find out if Mousesports are indeed resting in peace in this tournament, or whether they're going to battle back from the dead. Make sure you join us. No dabbing.
Every day when I wake, I'm trying to get up, they're knocking me down. Hey, 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 when I need to be.
All right, welcome back. So Fnatic in their seats, as are indeed Mousesports. You can see the records there for Mirage, and this was Fnatic's choice. You can see their record is 7 or 8er, so they yell to the cabbie, yo home, smell you later. I think they're going to be doing very well on this one. They, you know, pushed north as far as they could the other day, which was out of, you know, big surprise. I mean, everybody was kind of going for north on that one, and
certainly
16-14, some very close swing rounds. So this is obviously a map Fnatic are comfortable with. And certainly, you got to put them in favourites. They're in pole position right now.
Yeah, I know I called a 2-0 for Mousesports. I thought they were capable of the 2-0 because I know what they're capable of on the train, but Fnatic were so dominant. They took the game away from Mousesports. So I think it's really hard to bet against them moving into any of the next two maps, especially Mirage, based on the performance we saw from them before.
Yeah, similar.
I mean, you can try and get into their heads, psychoanalyze this, right? You know, it's like they've got Immortals coming up next, right? That's going to be the lower bracket final. Immortals, major finalists, right? You know, actual impact players. Fnatic may be a little bit more worried about them. Mousesports, what have they done? You know, they won Mykonos by beating Liquid. Ooh, you know, we gotta be really scared. That's what Flesh is thinking. Right. You know, here, hold on, I'll just go ahead and show this again. My prediction: 2-0, 2-0, baby. Mouse,
all right,
caught the trap.
He believed.
Flesh was right there.
All right,
he was
so
waiting to
do
spring
you want to change your prediction, James?
I'm just going to bear witness. I mean, my predictions, you know, I don't like to make them in a better day, so well, to the carnage that's going to come on Mirage.
All right, well, okay, I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, we're going to hand you back over to the casters. Take it away, Danders.
Well, Anders, I think Summoner's like slowly losing his mind. First, it was a pretty simple drawing. He's getting more elaborate. Next, you know, he's going to be pulling out like a Rorschach test. It's like, Richard, how do you feel? Like, what does this mean? And then interpretive dance.
I also have to just question the metaphor overall. Like, surely that would like the you know, mouse, like the Fnatic would be the mouse trap, right? And then the cheese was being like, how could Fnatic be the cheese?
I know,
Does
it's
it
weird.
make any
I know, right?
sense? I just don't understand.
I know, right?
It's madness, isn't it?
Maybe it's Fnatic branded cheese. Maybe they're getting into the
maybe
cheese
Semler's
industry.
the one who should be psychoanalyzed. I'm wondering if we're getting to that level now.
That would be a great
But
segment.
I honestly, I'm impressed with the drawing though. I had no idea he had those skills. That's really interesting.
That's
could
a
be
good
put
point.
to very good use. Now we're heading into it here. Map number 2 between Mousesports and Fnatic, and it's looking like a very aggressive play to top mid from Oscar, alone as well. Because why not? Who needs backup?
Who needs backup? Chris J, this would be really the perfect way to start. You know, just 5 headshots. Come on, Chris J. You know you can do it.
Oh, but Sunny's there with a flashbang, and he's got a second one too. Is he going to get it in time? Chris looking for the headshot. He gets the one, and he's out of bullets. But Sunny is there to pick up at least one headshot, and he's going to get a bit of a chance to reload here as well. There comes the flank from Oscar, and it's so quick that Crims wasn't seeing it. Sunny again taking down JW and Oscar to close it out. What a great defense. Oscar with the double, and Sunny, yesterday, Dan, when life was all rain.
Wow, yeah, that's true.
Boney M, you like that? It's good.
Yeah.
It's good music. Mousesports picking up that round. We should probably get a recap of that round at some point, like in full, because Sunny actually ran straight to the window and held the flashbang. He had 2 flashbangs, and he just waited. Like, it was like they knew exactly what Fnatic were doing. That was such an incredible outplay on every level. So, well done, Mousesports.
Now we shall see Mousesports in the position where they can have a good start. They had a horrible start and a horrible middle and a horrible end in the last map. Let's see if this is you know, what they need to change their fortune. We've got all the SMGs here, and Fnatic, they have 2 deagles. Lekr has a deagle, by the way, just, you know, just want to announce that to everyone. So you have to always be careful whenever he's always good for like 1v5 deagle clutch in any given map. So it's gonna be interesting to see if he can do that here and just rain on the parade of Mousesports.
He does have quite a cool history with that particular gun. So it's worth pointing out. It looks like they want to sort of go for a bit of a delayed explosion onto the B-bomb side. Chris is holding quite far back, so he's going to be hard to catch. I mean, I don't think he's going to get that many kills from this position, but just the fact that they have to find him eventually, doing a good job already, taking out Golden. There's Lekr to fall. It's great play from Chris right here.
Yeah, that's really important. Just get rid of Lekr immediately, and you can see that there's no real positions here for Fnatic to play off of, and that's really the problem. Like, typically, you could be okay. Oh, you know, we ran into the A, B side, we lost 2 guys, but we actually have some positions to fight from. But Flush is still in a horrible spot. There's Sonny with the running gun with a FAMAS, and that's Flush is dead. Really well handled by Mousesports, and that is definitely a huge relief. Because things, like against a team like Fnatic, those force fire rounds can be really scary. And now Mousesports get some breathing room. They didn't even really lose any players. It's always nice.
Yeah, this is a much better start. You have to imagine they've had a pretty serious conversation in the break between map 1 and 2, and sort of, you know, even if they're going to have a hard time against Fnatic, because it looks like the Swedes are doing really well, you don't want to exit the group stage here with just putting up no fight at all, right? And that's what it would be for Mousesports right now. So seems like when the pressure is on, they've started to wake up a bit. Now they're crushing Fnatic in the middle, who don't have any armor, and it's an easy round where nobody goes down. 3-0. Looking a lot better now.
It's time for the real counter-strikes now. We get the buy out of Fnatic. And one does wonder, what is the plan for them? Of course, in a round like this, on the 3rd round, oh, sorry, rather the 4th rounds, after you did that force buy earlier and so on, you don't have as much money for a full stock of grenades, so you have to be fairly committed as to how you use them, because you just don't have very many. So we'll see whether they get a good mid-take, if they play a fast pace. Already Lekr and JW making their way towards middle. That's the smoke on short to help them cover some ground.
So push into underpass with 2 people. Now, that might not be great, because they might be stuck. Oh, Sunny fighting his way out, and Chris has taken down Flusher. There's 100 ways that could have gone bad, but they might have found the one way that it doesn't. Lekr and Crims now, 2 versus 5. All they have to do is not really commit to any fights any longer. If they can just stay safe, should be no problem from here on out. That's very aggressive Mousesports.
And the thing is, like, Stiko is on 19 HP with an MP9. He's not really much of a factor right now. And so if he goes down and no damage is done to Lekro Crims, that's a 2v3 with a minute on the clock. And, ooh, he actually gets a dink there and he gets out alive, didn't take any damage. So what I just said is completely redundant at this point. Now Fnatic are in a pretty horrible spot. Crims he's going to have to be so on point with these first shots of his. Stiko's waiting around the corner. Crims can just barely see his hip bone poking out there, and it will be promptly shot away. But in comes the flank from Robs. Looks pretty solid here. Going to be able to catch Lekro and transfer onto Crims. Fnatic crushed.
Yes, and that's very strange. Like, this is a great double setup, and the fact that Sunny goes around and gets this kill on JW is just amazing, but I'm still confused by the fact that Fnatic didn't see the aggression coming, because the first 3 rounds from Mousesports have been very aggressive. So I would have assumed that Fnatic would have taken a much more defensive position all across the map and just said, okay, if you're going to play that way, we'll wait, you know.
Maybe, Anders, Fnatic are the cheese. Maybe they're Swiss cheese.
Yeah, certainly being made into it. So it's a good cartoon type reference. I like it. Yeah. I'm still not buying the metaphor. I feel like Fnatic should be surely the mousetrap, but
yeah,
we'll talk to Samra about it later.
Yeah, we'll work out what's going on. This is a great position from Stiko, just holding down the sandwich. Starting to feel really hungry, all this talk of cheese and sandwiches. However, it will be Fnatic to get some love here as they move into the A bomb site, getting some kills. The bomb needs to be planted though, and it is far, far away. It's on the back of JW, and he'll carry it back towards T spawn. So unfortunate for Fnatic to be unable to immediately convert this into a plant, but perhaps there's still a way here for Fnatic to get something out of this, something extra out of this round, and JW might find it because it looks like he's going to win the race to that B-bomb site.
Yeah, Oscar's really trying. He wants to be there in time. He's so far 1 second late. Oh, but he's got the pistol out instead. That might be good enough, and JW knows it. See, set us out, and Oscar is going to ruin the day there for JW. That was very close. That could have been a bomb plant, but Mousesports now 5-0 with seemingly no response at all for the Fnatic team.
Dude, this money is outrageous. Rops is starting the round with 14k and 10k on both Oscar and Chris J. Everyone else was 7 to 9k. That's just within 5 rounds. That is a little bit outrageous, Anders. That is going to be a lot of rounds where Fnatic have to just crush Mousesports again and again before they run into those ecos.
You know what? We sometimes have the Weatherman segment. So I think we should have like a Bob Ross segment where Semler is painting the predictions. So give him a canvas and put him at the side of the stage.
Yeah,
that'd make for interesting content, surely.
That would be brilliant. Get him in the week, the Afro game going on. I think it would suit him well.
I think it would too. Stiko is playing just at the edge of the smoke in the connector. This time Fnatic finally have some mid control. That's a new thing.
Chris J pushed quite forwards here in the kitchen of the B apartments. Very unkempt is this kitchen. So Chris J doesn't care at the moment. Just waiting for any aggression or signs of life from Fnatic, but I love this. Fnatic with a solid mid-take. And we have heard about Golden's style of leadership. You have these defaults, but how do they play off of them?
Look at Robs on the other side of the map. He's sneaking in. There's Crims almost opening up. That would have been great on Oscar, but Robs is so far pushed up. Stiko gets Golden. Lekro's taking the bomb more towards the B-bomb site where Chris is, as you were pointing out earlier. So this is all over the place. This is just a sort of a full map battle, but this might be the most important part of it. Chris hiding on top of the couch. He's going to get both the kills with the bomb down as well. That's about everything that he needs to do. JW did get one on Sunny, but Stiko is covering one side, and JW's got the other, and Crims and Oscar, they're having a completely separate battle somewhere else that seems to have no relevance any longer. 20 seconds, and Crims will go down. Another round for Mousesports. Strange.
Damn. This is pretty nuts right now. Fnatic are getting cleaned up very quickly indeed in some of these rounds, and after seeing a map where we had a Mousesports that was completely, well, just being dominated individually, we're now seeing the tables have been utterly flipped. And it's curious to see how this will be dealt with from Fnatic, because one thing I feel as though we did learn is that Fnatic have these defaults that they want to go to, that structure with which then they branch off of as they see the, as in how they see their opponents playing and how they interpret their weaknesses to be. But right now, Mousesports aren't really showing any weaknesses. So where did Fnatic go?
Yeah, it's all very strange at the moment. Just the complete polar opposite from what we saw on Train, where Fnatic crushed Mousesports. They didn't look like they had any chance at all. And now, you know, it's not that much of a break. They look completely revitalized. 6-0 in their favor. Spray through the smoke, and it does a tremendous amount of damage to 4 of the players on the Fnatic team. Stiko hiding inside of the connector will be taken down by JW and that Deagle. So at least some damage being output here from the Fnatic side, but still not going to be easy to win the round following this. We'll see what happens. They are quite far out of the B bomb side here. Mousesports, both Chris and Sunny, pushing up together as a duo on Catwalk and trying to make their way into middle. Golden's got the bomb, and he also got the headshot onto Sunny. This is looking interesting.
And these are the rounds where you see Fnatic commonly find some way to win them. And Lecro's got the Deagle there, taking down Oscar. The meat shots are plenty. Now Mousesports have 2 players there. Chris J spots the play into the B-bomb site. He spots the bomb. Can he get it down, though, towards the apartment? Spots another player along to that B-bomb site. Now he has to rely on Rops, the new man. So smart and clutch and patient in these situations. It'll start off well for him. Able to eliminate Crims as he makes his way forwards. But Lecro, just precision shot, full frontal lobotomy there from Lecro's Deagle.
So, out of all the rounds the Fnatic maybe could have won, they wait until it's the one where they have just pistols and armor, and it works. They end up bringing it back, and it's 6-1. So that's always going to do so much for your economy. When you can do that, you know you're in a good spot.
And this is the Fnatic that we sort of... That's like the more characteristic Fnatic, right? If you think of their identity over the years, just winning these outrageous rounds with pistols. And Lecro with and just having that Lecro one shot at the end, that just completed it for me. But let's see if there's another response from Mousesports if they decide to switch things up. They've been keeping things fairly vanilla so far because they haven't needed to change anything. This could be a good opportunity for them to get a little bit cheeky, potentially.
I like that Fnatic are at least starting to get the mid control more consistently in some of these rounds. Mousesports are letting a little bit of that go in favor of having a pretty strong defense on the A-bomb side, though. It will be hard to break through here for Fnatic unless they can get some good presence either in jungle as they're trying now with JW or in connector. Either one works. Sunny here, got to be very careful, not really making any noise yet, but he's extremely paranoid about that smoke, and you can't blame him.
Ooh, Chris J gets that pick off on connector. And this is the thing that Mousesports understand what Fnatic are doing in the early to mid round. They're taking middle, they're sitting on positions in middle, trying to see what is going on, get information, maybe get a pick off. But now what Mousesports are doing is they're saying, well, you guys have to take the initiative now. We're just going to sit with our strong positions. And here it is. JW, he takes that initiative. He takes down Sunny. And now he's able to move it in towards CT spawn here. Great angle to catch the rotation. But Chris J lands the shot. And now it's down just to Crimson Flusher.
I don't think JW outplayed himself. That was more of an obstruction from him than it was for Chris. A bit unfortunate. Now it's just Flusher left as Crims did go down. Let's see what he can do. Sneaking in with 10 seconds and the bomb, admittedly. If he gets the kill on Oscar, might be a bomb plant in it. 7 seconds, and he reads it very well. He's just barely going to have the bomb plant, but he will get it. And now it's a 1 versus 3 here. Flusher, we saw the clutches on Train. This would be a great time to bring it back and maybe do some real damage to Mousesports. If they can't win this round, it's going to be real bad. They're all coming in from exactly the same angle. They fortunately don't have a smoke or a Molotov, so there's a slight chance here for Flusher, but he is a master at this. AK in hand, the bomb already quite far ticked now. He's been spotted. There's one kill, goes for a second, and now they're going to double team him. Another headshot comes in, and Stiko barely gets the kill, doesn't have the kit, and oh, it's going to be close, but I think he's just got it. Yeah, he will have the time for the defuse. What an incredible sequence from Flusher. Nearly a 1 versus 4.
I know, right? It's when you see Flusher in that position, you're sort of thinking, well, this guy can pull it off. He's like the Goliath, and he's got like 3 Davids running at him with the slingshots there, and he takes down 2. And he almost had the 3rd one as well. I was really starting to believe there. Flusher's bomb has been incredible. He definitely needs to have more of that, though, as Fnatic sit very uncomfortably on that single round. It's a very uncomfortable play, Sanders. I don't mean the back of a Volkswagen.
Is that uncomfortable, Dan?
Apparently so. And they talk. That's the reference from Mallrats, and they talk about it all the time.
It's been so long since I've seen that film. I've forgotten. I should be ashamed of that. It's a really good movie. You're right. I
Awesome,
just haven't seen it for a long time.
Yeah.
All right. I like it though.
It's quite an obscure one, to be honest.
It's good. That's what we're all about here.
Yeah.
Richard started off with a Golden Child reference, which is very good. It's a good movie though. I like it. So slightly obscure, but
I'll be waiting for your movie reference, Anders. You are next in the line.
I'll do my best. I'll come up with something surely. 7-1 is the scoreline, and I don't know, Fnatic look lost on this map. There's none of the determination, none of the bold tactics that we saw out of them on train. They also don't have the economy, so things are stacked pretty heavily against them. They're going to try and put JW in the window again. It looks like the timing almost working out perfectly. He hears him running as well. Try and see if he can follow up behind Stiko. That could set up a great B push and going to run one down. Will turn around as Chris, so that's at least pretty good, but they're not even going to go for it. That's a shame. I don't think you can get much more of a better opening than that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was, to be honest, really amazing that Chris J was able to get the kill immediately, and that more damage was not due from JW there. And Mousesports in a great position, cutting off the rotation through connector easily with those rifles. Let Crow now close range with the Deagle. Now he's going to be able to bait out a shot, going for some repeats here. Bait out another shot, but it's not good enough. Oscar able to make that one happen, and it's an 8-1 scoreline now for the Mousesports side as they are launching themselves towards great success in this half.
And Robs all along was hiding in the corner of that bomb site. So even if they got the kill on Oscar, I mean, he got 2 in the meantime there. Oscar's looking, I don't know, how do you read this expression?
Maybe he's got a
migraine.
Yeah.
Those aren't fun. Yeah, but he shouldn't be. He should be really happy right now. They've got a 7-round lead. And Fnatic, I mean, did they just use all the energy? Did they run out of G fuel in the second map here, Dan? Is that what's happening?
It's quite possible, yeah. It's quite possible. They need to get just a drip, you know. That's the step forward. Just never run out then.
There could be other medical complications, I think, along the way. But
all right, okay.
But Dan, if you're going to be the first one to try it, I would encourage it. I think that could be interesting.
We'll see. I get my intravenous game on. We'll have to see also whether or not Mousesports can keep this up, because Fnatic are always going to be dangerous. We see another round with pistols, and JW is he's looking for those plays here from Palace. He's going to get the Molotov onto the shadow position, but Rops is not there. He's on the site. Great stuff there with the rifle. Easily, handily taking down a multitude of Fnatic players as they try to assail the A bomb site, but to no avail, as Crims is going to find himself now with a quite clean A bomb site, but that is because the bomb is sitting there on a unrecoverable.
Yeah. It's a bit disappointing, really. It goes down to Chris. You've got to be wondering, when you see something like that out of Robs, you just think, where's this guy on train? Like, why weren't they able to do really any of this? Because this is very impressive. I mean, even if they only have pistols, there's just a lot happening in this round where he sort of has to be pretty dead on with the spray, and also more than that, he's not very easily exposing himself to more positions. So it's just all around good. 9-1, and moving into the 11th round, Fnatic are back on, well, at least the AKs. It's great news.
They could still get 6 rounds, Anders. That's the thing that could happen.
We were saying that with Mousesports in the first map, and it never really worked out, did it?
It's true.
I've become cynical in the meantime, although that is a beautiful opening. Oscar will get the refrag. Bold shot there, but it does work out.
Yeah, I suppose if you apply the context of the game, it's hard to see it, but Fnatic are off to a good start here, and they do have a man advantage, a 4 versus 3 with 1.5 minutes on the clock. That is really good. Lots of time to do stuff and really put Mousesports into uncomfortable positions, but instead they will press the issue there into connector, and Mousesports ready to fight, not looking to be passive here. And they have retaken middle. Whether they know it or not, Fnatic have gotten out of dodge.
Sonny knew that someone was running underneath him. That was Golden. What he didn't know was Flusher making his way out, and that's very impressive. A little bit of spray comes through onto Oscar as well, and goes for the fight. Very bold from Flusher. Maybe didn't need to do that. He's going to get the kill on Robs as well. Flusher's back with a triple kill, so just I mean, that's quite a commitment to fight all those 3 players, but it works out. 9-2.
Yeah, that's half of all of Flusher's frags in this map so far. Or 11 rounds in, sixth kill.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of, yeah, the fragging is not really there so far for Fnatic. That is for sure.
Yeah, it's very depressing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what? So according to Semler's metaphor, I'm trying to keep up here.
Right.
Does that mean that they've run out of cheese and that Mousesports are no longer like? How does it work for map 2? Because if they were the mousetrap, maybe like the spring had got like worn down since the first map. Now it's not doing enough damage.
Yeah, shoddy craftsmanship.
Yeah.
On the spring, poor materials used, cheap materials, budget materials. It's all falling apart. The mouse has sort of struggled free, brought his friends, and now they're just like 5-on-1 right now, just smashing.
I like how I feel like I've lured you in to try and continue this meta.
Yeah, I know.
It's getting progressively worse.
Yes, it is. And again, we see the same approach here from Fnatic. They open up middle. This time, though, more presence towards the pit and palace position, looking for the split onto A. But Mousesports have a good setup there.
They do, but one good smoke on Oscar, and Stiko and Robs are going to be fighting at 3 different angles at once. I mean, they're very exposed here. Robs trying to do the damage. He's going to go down. Oscar is still unsmoked and up on the ticket booth. He's going to be going down, and so will Stiko for a 2 versus 3. So Sunny's going to be there with the flank. Chris just has to wait, surely. Don't expose yourself just yet. Just wait until the teammate is there. Sunny is coming for it, and Chris is going to try and relocate himself. I think this is the smart move, rather than Chris trying to fight it alone.
Absolutely. And he's going to get a good angle here. Great stuff there from Chris J. The timing, picture, perfect from him. And now it's a 2 versus 2. The bomb only freshly planted, lots of time. Good dink comes in, but Lekro healthy enough to survive it. Gets the kill, and now it's Chris J. Very close on the grenade, but no dice, no cigar for him. Another nade, another attempt, a complete whiff. But Chris J, he can still make this happen. Still a bit of time to play off of, but there it is. Crim's in the back. It's hard to handle that situation, and it's another round for Fnatic. Maybe they will be able to struggle their way to a reasonable scoreline.
That's actually just, I mean, one thing is the flashbang here that helps Lekro with the kill, but that's very good play from Lekro getting away from the grenade, because he actually ran out of sandwich, or get right, as we sometimes call it, to get away. So it's very well done. 9-3, and you're right. There's a chance, especially if you consider them economy of Mousesports. They have slowly run out of money on the mixed European side.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if Fnatic can actually break them one time in this half. And again, a mid take. This is a very similar round, but a slightly more aggression and presence on the pit position from Fnatic. Otherwise, it's very similar. Have to see whether or not Fnatic can have a similar result to the round. Mousesports aren't playing the same setup. They were playing too close to pit previously. Although actually, Robs has his attention there. They're not playing right on top of the slope.
Yeah, at least theoretically they should have a bit more control of connector this time, because Sunny's watching it from the other side. Counter flash is coming out. That's really great from Robs, and that will net him a kill, but now he's feeling lonesome for backup. The grenade is going to end his life, and now it's Oscar trying to get the kill. Chris as well with the AWP, so 2 versus 3, but some of the very interesting offers being playing out against each other here. This JW going down. Oscar going to be able to win that fight. Crimson Golden on the other side. First shot doesn't quite hit, second doesn't either. And that's a 4th round for Fnatic here. Big chance, I think, for Mousesports to maybe win this round, but now they've let the Swedes right back in the game.
Yeah, that was so close too. I mean, if Oscar actually does get that hit on the man protecting the bomber, then he actually might be able to get a reload in to be able to get a chance to win the round, which is kind of insane, just how small some of the margins are in a game like Counter-Strike between a won and a lost round.
That's actually quite incredible for JW. The first kill, then the grenade, then the second kill. With the AWP, not bad. Fnatic again, uncontested in the middle. A lot of grenades everywhere, and Lekro with an enormous amount of speed charging in. Hiding in the corner is Stiko, and not connecting with the pistol means he's gone. Leaving Chris. I think there's no way out of this, Dan.
No, there is not. But at least for Mousesports, this will be their 4th loss in a row. So they're going to have $2,900, and they all have around 2,000 and more. So they're going to have a really good buy going into that last round for this first half. And I mean, Fnatic are going to be on 5 rounds. So if you consider where they started, honestly, that's actually amazing. And Fnatic will have a great opportunity to even make it to 6. So this, I feel like things have opened up dramatically, which I'm happy to see. as opposed to a very otherwise one-sided game of Mirage.
Yeah, so...
Oh, no! No! How dare you!
Chris, of all people, you just saw how emotional he was when they lost that first map, and now you're stabbing with a knife in the second one. They're getting under his skin, aren't they? That is another classic Fnatic thing, isn't it? We know they have players who love it. Would have been more fitting if it was JW, but still.
That was great. Now, we're in an interesting spot. Last round of the first half. And Mousesports don't have any AWPs. Their CT defense has been characterized by 2 AWPs very often. So Fnatic, now JW getting a lot of speed there. That's brilliant. I love that.
I wish I could do that. He's standing in the fire though. So
what?
You did say brilliant, Dan, but I have to call that into question.
Well, he's been made into fondue, Anders.
Yes, Swedish fondue.
Yep.
Probably does involve fish, so I'll take a quick note of that. But he was committed. We can say that if we have to try and sell it, put a spin on it. Very committed, this JW.
Yes.
And now the rest of his team is trying to sneak in. Chris with a good headshot here. Mousesports with a chance to make it 10. Got the great counter grenades coming out. It seems like Fnatic are just still pushing the same issue.
Yeah, just going for it now, doubling down on this B-bomb site. The Mousesports are all over it at the moment, and they will win the rounds. 10-5. It was, I suppose, a bit of a mess after JW sort of just melted away there.
Yeah, whenever you see a teammate do that, it's hard to keep the focus, isn't it? What a crazy first half. 10-5 in favor of Mousesports. We'll come back with the second half right after the break.
Target spotted.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. A truly crispy first half here on map number 2 between Mousesports and Fnatic. The full commitment of JW, giving everything that he had in the fire, and is surprised by that. Doesn't realize how fire works. Dan, maybe you can help explain after the game. It's simple, it's basic. As a race, we figured it out centuries ago.
Absolutely. It's like atoms, Anders. They're like moving really fast. Stuff gets really hot. Something like that. Something about atoms, I think.
There we go. I mean, the basic takeaway is just don't stand in it. Like, at least you don't actually have to understand how it works. You just learn that much. So
okay, cool.
I feel like that's an important lesson for JW. Hopefully, one that he won't forget. But it was good comedy for all the rest of us. Still,
I enjoyed it.
10-5 half in favor of Mousesports. Come on, like surely this is what they need to bring us a map number 3 on Cobblestone. Because otherwise, they're going to go out of the groups right after winning in Mykonos.
But this is the thing: is that right now, it feels like Chris J has been struggling to make the calls on the T side against Immortals and so far against Fnatic. So even though they have 10 rounds, there is definitely a chance here, to be honest, for Fnatic to be able to make some of those crazy plays and to really shake Mousesports. But it all starts with this pistol round. If Fnatic can get it, can bring it to like 7 or 8 rounds, then definitely it's going to be a very interesting game.
Good deep smoke, one flashbang to set it off, and Flusher did get the first headshot. Crims with a follow-up, and that's bad news now. The smoke's actually working against them because they can't chase down Crims. Flusher with another couple of headshots, bringing it to a triple kill, and now it's all on Chris. He's fighting at every angle, and that rarely ever works. So, Fnatic to pick it up, Flusher with a great triple.
And that is the start they needed. But now it's time to survive the force buy. Anders. They must survive the force buy. It can be difficult at the best of times in a game like Counter-Strike. But do you believe they can do it?
Yes. I mean, I think Fnatic actually are a team, or at least they used to be a team that was sort of prone to losing rounds like these just because they get so excited and they have so much confidence that maybe they make more mistakes than they should. But I would hope that the influence of Golden, this is where you want to see his sort of, the structure come in and say, just, take it easy.
I love this when you just run out of Palace with no warning. Even if the CTs even throw a smoke there or something, just run out straight onto the site. If there's only one guy playing the site, he dies very oftentimes, and you get a bomb plant. Oh, Flusher though, he's playing passively, he's playing far back. That's very important.
Yeah, but just in time, I think you're absolutely right though. That could have been a very good call. Golden did get a kill there. Will be a bomb plant at least for the Mousesports team, so that's good news. They've got the kill on JW. Flusher goes down next. Sunny with a deagle in a 1 versus 3 and up in the Palace. They have a smoke on Lekro. Well, doesn't even need it, but if that would have been cancelled anyway. So it's a great job for Mousesports. 2 kills and a bomb plant.
Yeah, that is perfect, isn't it? It really makes up for the investment. Keep the pressure on that CT economy. And we know as well that JW is going to be the kind of AWP that will love to have loads of cash. So he's got that security to play those forward spawns, to go for those fast plays into Palace or into middle, wherever it might be. JW, I hope after what we saw on Train, we'll really be looking at it, because it's something for me that really characterized his play when he was really in his prime, was playing aggressively on CT side of Mirage with the AWP.
Let's see if they're going to get a chance to do that, because I think you're right. It definitely could be interesting. Robs not needing the AWP deal will do just fine for a kill on Crims. And every time that happens in a round like this, when you're on the CT side, you start to wonder, and there's the follow-up. JW, he is in trouble as well. He's going to put up the smoke, and Flusher wants to help him out. Does get the kill on Oscar, but instantly returned by Robs. Oh, no.
Oh, no, Anders. Robs has decided to just be the human can opener with the deagle. They're just running up slope and getting the one shot before the smoke goes off. It is rather absurd.
The human can opener. Robs the Ripper. What kind of theme are we going for here?
I don't know, man. After the cheese, it all started to just make less and less sense.
Yeah, Semler did set us off on a wrong course, didn't he, for today? I feel like we could blame it all on him at the end. Sunny trying to make his way out of the apartments. JW's got so low health. If they had a grenade, it'd be wonderful, but they will have to fight him, and as long as he can stay behind the box, maybe there's a chance. Sunny being a little bit nervous here, trying to check all the angles, and bomb plant being attempted. JW wants to go for the fight, and that might not have been worth it. The bomb goes down, so does JW.
How does Lekro do this? They still only have pistols, but they are deagles, and they can quickly just pop out, take the one-shot attempt, then duck behind cover again from multiple angles at the same time. We've got a player rotating through into middle, into connector eventually, or perhaps short. Honestly, Lekro really, he doesn't have too much in the way of options here. Goes for the incendiary play, but he might have to just go for the tap of the bomb, bait out the next player, and Sunny plays past the Molotov anyway, gets the one shot. Got to hand it to Robs, the young lad, able to get these 2 amazing deagle shots. Oh my God, that is just outrageously disgusting stuff from Robs.
I must say, small bit of hindsight here on my part, but for Lekro to throw the Molotovs towards the ramp instead of apps makes no sense at all to me, because where the bomb is planted, the guy from ramp very often can't even make it there in time. So if you just Molotov apartments and go with the defuse, that makes way more sense the other way around. Like, the other way around was never going to work. So I mean, it was probably not going to work anyway, but just want to point that out.
And the worst has happened. They lost against pistols, not even against the force buy, but against just a couple of deagles. And now Fnatic are like, well, we have to buy from this position. And that's the correct play. Mousesports don't have a big economy. They'll spend all their money. Well, that said, a few of them did actually survive. So they picked up all the guns. So in fact, they didn't really have to buy in this round. So yeah, actually, Mousesports do have a good economy. So Fnatic are really playing with fire at the moment. And we know from recent experience that JW is not so good at that.
It's very true. I like that you point that out. Golden is playing the angle at Catwalk and almost getting the kill, but running out of bullets. I don't know why he's still alive, but it surely won't last for much longer. Almost gets Chris as well. That's very sloppy work from Mousesports, but it sort of does the job anyway. And Sunny finding the only member of Fnatic there that actually had head armor. Everyone else has no head armor. So that Mac 10 is not as bad as it seems in a round like this. flusha got the kill on Robs, but I think they should give this up.
Yeah, flusha after that fight was down to 2 HP. He's just useless now. No point going for an engagement. Crims, though, he can actually sneak away a steal of a weapon, and maybe with the intelligent positioning that could get him a kill. Just waiting, waiting, waiting. Patience, and patience pays. But not too much. He can't steal away that weapon too easily. And Stiko is in position there to catch the angles should Crims be pushing it. But that's another nice shot from Crims there. Able to whittle away some of that money from the Mousesports bank. Can he find himself an AK? There is one nearby.
Oh, he's trying.
Oh, no. Well played by Sunny to realize he'd go for it.
Yeah, I didn't even see that coming. That was it's not bad at all. Crim's a little bit annoyed, obviously.
But come on.
12-7 and moving into the 20th round. So, I mean, this is a very close game. I think because of the Mousesports economy, they're quite a bit ahead here. But Fnatic were looking fierce on CT side train. Wondering if they could do the same, if they can get up to the kind of economy that they need. Right now, they are lacking in every way, except for the rifle on flusha.
Chris just looking for any aggression towards the apps. And Lekro might give it away to him. Lekro only a P250 to speak for. And he's been spotted now as well. And Mousesports just have to keep it simple here and play together as a team, and they will be completely fine. Use their utility. There's nothing that really can go wrong for them in that sense. flusha is, however, in perhaps the best possible position that he could be in on the map for the CT side. Playing from the bench, able to perhaps catch some of these fine angles. He has teammates to distract for him up front. Damage can be done here. That's a fantastic kill from Golden. Now Mousesports might be thinking twice about this.
Yeah, they really should be. They don't know that flusha is quite here yet, so they might not be aware of the danger that lies, because I absolutely agree. This could get a bit ugly. flusha's been a terror today. He's in position now. He's going to get the first target there, and Stiko does win that fight. And now they know, and they look like they're still going to commit to it. Jumping down onto the site is Chris. Doesn't have the bomb, but he will win the fight. And JW, if only he didn't have a USP, this would be a great position, but that pistol is just not very powerful against the armor on the other side.
Even if it was just like a P250, just something else. But it's only Crims now. He might be able to do something. Gets a quick dink in there, but fairly unlikely. His position spotted, and he has now been swatted. 3 players left alive. 13-7. They're close, Anders. They're close to pulling this out to a third map.
Yes, they are. I mean, this is a 6-round gap, but that's not really what worries me. It's more the economy for Mousesports. It's just growing at a pretty rapid pace. 7,000 on Chris, 6 on Robs, almost 6 on Sunny. This is all looking very good for them. Whereas on the Fnatic side, it's, yeah, the whole bank into this one round just to try and see if they can make it work. Smoke from T-Spawn to get a bit of mid-control for his team there. Rob's going to put it all the way into the window.
All right, so Mousesports trying to build some of that mid-control with no one in the underpass. And that means you have to be really on point with your smokes, and they're going to make their way up quickly through short. Sunny, the front man for this push, but Golden is playing behind the smokes there, looking for any pushes towards that ladder room, and will Sunny give it to him? It's great position here, good angle, spotted and looked for by JW, but still takes a lot of damage. Oh, that's fantastic stuff there from Sunny. Reads the traces, and that's Golden down as well as flusha. Mousesports looking incredible now.
It's an absolutely absurd play from Sunny. Falling off the edge. And Golden, he read it. He was pre-firing, expecting him to fall off the rail, and then he still gets the kill. That's very hard to explain. Lekro will take down Sunny finally. Is it in time, though? 3 versus 4. They are 2 of them on the A site here in Crims and JW. Maybe they can make it work. Lekro's being called in as well. This is kind of do or die time for Fnatic. If they can't make this one work, then don't think they're going to have much of a chance. They can't contest the bomb plant. JW tried it last time, and that didn't work. So this time he's waiting for backup.
Yeah, they set it up. But how will Mousesports deflect this push? Coordination's in. Crimson Necro applying the pressure now, closer and closer to challenging these players. And Mousesports ropes to go down as the trade is made. In comes Letcro for another one, but it's Deco to have the last laugh as he takes down Letcro, and that's another round for Mousesports. They set it up well, and they're looking like, I think for the first time in the last couple of days, like they can actually play their game.
I really hate to nitpick, but it's... Yes, it's just that it's another situation where, technically speaking, they had 2 players on the ramp Mousesports and the bomb plant at default. And that default plant is so dangerous.
Yeah, it is.
Like, you really don't want to have 2 people on ramp. One, you know, sure, but then you'd want that one player to be a bit aggressive. You don't want them just waiting, because it's very hard to stop the defuse from that position. Chris had a Molotov, but that doesn't even help that much. So, just a bit risky for Mousesports. But it works out fine, so just me being paranoid. 14-7. This is looking great, Dan. Mousesports, I mean, I lost almost all hope for them in that first map. Maybe that was too quick.
We saw them, you know, in the mousetrap, Anders, but it's like one of those mice has escaped from like this like scientific testing or something, like super hench mouse.
Like, you know, sort of like bionic mouse.
Bionic mouse, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it's been built faster and stronger. And right now it's looking like it's about to reach the end of the race here, the end of the maze, as Mirage is strong. They've got all the money here. Everything's been working. They've got good mid control here. They're only against pistols. 2 players without any Kevlar, and they're about to launch the attack onto B. In comes Golden, close range, they're not even looking. Golden, that's 2 incredibly important kills with the CZ. What else can he get? He's going in for seconds. He might get it, but Oscar will shut him down, but still damage has been done, and time is beginning to run low for Mousesports.
Man, you see Golden trying to compensate for the aim punch. It's actually quite impressive to watch. It's so difficult to do. And Flusher with another couple of C-sets, 75 kills, jumping down to the face of Sunny to get the last one. This is an action movie, Flusher. We're actually trying to qualify for the playoffs in the biggest tournament you could play in. So right now, I mean, you just have to wonder. 14-8, and Fnatic bringing it back a bit with some crazy action.
Love the first kill there from Golden, because his peaking timing, or his like wide peak timing, because he's running with the pistol, he's quite fast to run. And the player who, I forget who he killed first, but that player is sort of pre-aiming at different angles. So essentially he's like running into an off angle, like ahead of the pre-aim. So it was really nice there from Golden. It's like perfect timing for that to be able to happen.
And if he had gone for the regular angle, as it were, he could have also been shut down from Delpan. So there's you know, it's a good reason why he would peek that far, actually. You're right. Oscar with a very quick peek and gets a second one on Lecro. This is what a kinky round coming out of Oscar. This is, again, unfit for broadcast. That's speed you rarely get to see ever.
He just kicked down the door, man. Wow. He's got the riot gear on. He's just kicking around all the doors, straight in there. Can't deny Oscar when he wants to get in. And Golden's got it. This is a really good flank. If he gets any of the kills here, the bomb is actually in this position, and he'll cut it off from the B-bomb side. This is pretty interesting. This could be huge right now, and the kill into CT Spawn might give additional confidence here for Mousesports, but it seems as though they know the presence of Fnatic here. This is really weird.
Yes, Golden will be going down. Rob's doing a good job, and Crim's a little bit late to the party. Will get the kill before he's finished off by Stiko. So 15-8, and Mousesports looking to bring us on to a third map. Look at how quick he is. He's not even actually aiming that right away. This is, I mean...
Mr. T just jumping through the window, man.
When he goes in, Dan, he goes in.
He goes all the way in. And that's 15-18, 15-8 indeed. 2 AWPs on the T side. Are you for real? Are you for real, Anders? I never like to see double AWPs on the T side. Mirage, some teams can do it, but...
James and I were having this very discussion yesterday when we were watching Immortals play on Cobblestone. They seem to try and make it work as well. Sometimes it did, but there are some obvious problems with it, especially if they end up being the last 2 players live with just the AWPs, then things get really strange. Crim's AWPing on the other side. Not JW. Looking for an opening, and he gets it on Oscar, so well worth it. There's Golden taking down Chris. Looks like Fnatic have a bit more fuel left in the rocket here. Stika will go down. It leaves Sunny.
What can Sunny do? As you mentioned, he has been somewhat quiet here and there. But there's a nice quick frag from him. But the problem is, the element of surprise is gone. Perhaps that does not matter, though. Sunny still has a minute to go. He's got almost no health on him, which is quite problematic. And, oh, wow, that's a really important shot to be missed for Sunny. He's still alive and kicking, picks up the bomb. He's spotted still, though. They know his relative position, and they can just cover all the angles. And Sunny, he can't know where they are. It's shot in the back. Or, wait.
Side of the head.
Side of the head. That was interesting.
Yeah, but it could have been any one of them, because he was actually triangled into the middle, so it could have been either position, I feel like. 15-9, Fnatic living a bit longer. I feel like this is Counter-Strike after all, so we've seen this happen before. I feel like the worst of all worlds right now would surely be if Fnatic come back and win it in overtime. Because then Mousesports are just mentally going to be crushed, aren't they? You hate to see it.
Yeah, we'll definitely be needing the Rorschach diagrams then.
Oh, wow. Oscar not afraid to take the fight, but JW had the better spawn, and he was up on that little piece of furniture that's there. So he had a bit of an off angle himself, jumping into Crim's aim, and Stika will get one refrag, but they don't need to do any more now. Just calm down, Fnatic.
But that's not something that we necessarily will characterize them with, although, as we have noted, they have been a bit more calm in the recent light of Golden's leadership. But it's another kill from JW to make it a 4 against 2, and it's going to get even better here. Letcro has a Stiko walking into his position. Now it's just Rops looking to do as much damage as he can to the economy of Fnatic, who, should they want to make this comeback, they really need to keep the integrity of that economy going so that they can weather some losses as far as players in the future rounds, but still keep the grenades rolling in, the ults and so on. And their money right now is nothing. So there is work to be done here by Rops if he gets a couple kills.
Crouching into the middle. He does have the bomb. We've seen 1v4s in the past. Usually, do you need sort of the element of surprise, I feel like. You need to get the first 1 or 2 kills in quick succession without them knowing where you are. And that's just not the case this time. So 15-10. Fnatic creeping back into the game. They are. What are they doing? Are they placing the cheese back in the mousetrap? Are they winding the mousetrap? It's hard to say.
I like that we're going back to it again. That we keep returning to it.
It's just.
I think it's important, Anders, to have consistent narratives.
Yes, it is.
I think it's important.
Even if the origin is a terrible one.
Exactly. You got to commit, man.
I'm fascinated by it because now it's actually a bit of a mystery how it's so I kind of like it. Maybe we could start a religion around it later.
Yeah, I mean. Have to ditch the spaghetti monster, which is my current,
I think Semler would make for a great cult leader. I think that could be. Crims with a bit of a raw spray down, taking 3 with him. Flusher with a good transfer. JW will steal it, but it could have been Flusher as well. So in the end, 15-11, and we do move into the 27th round. Mousesports. Do you see any beads of sweat popping up on their foreheads, Dan? Is it about that time? I feel like Mousesports have got to be very worried now.
It's fine.
It's all fine.
It's fine. They've got this. They've got this. They've got AK-47s, CZ, Galil, full utility. Looks like they're going to run a set piece because they've been doing their homework. They know the nade positions. And they're going to crush the defense of Fnatic, and they're going to win the game. They're going to be cheering Anders, and they'll be happy. Party poppers, and here we go.
You're making it in a strong case, especially if Crims can't win this first fight. If he goes down, the rest of this bomb side is really vulnerable, but it goes the other way, and that's big trouble for Mouse. How do you get out of this A ramp with Crims being up in apartments? They're going to commit to it anyway. I'm not sure if they should. Might have been time to fall back. Great spray and water transfer from Flusher right onto Oscar and Sunny. That's monstrous. Stiko now in the middle. Don't think it really matters what he does any longer. JW going to come and fight him. That might have been a mistake. 1 health, though.
1 health. Well, I definitely didn't build that up and probably shouldn't have gone that far.
It is all over the place, isn't it?
Party has been crashed by Flusher. Flusher's been getting a lot of great multi-kills.
Yes.
I've been enjoying that.
I mean, I'm just enjoying seeing flusha at this level again. He's got 25 kills, almost caught up to Chris, who's at 29, and that's 26 right there. So it's wild and out of control for the Swedish player. What was his ADR on map number 1? Is 143? It was like 126 maybe at the end. It was so high.
I love how clean that was.
Yes.
Like 3 players on your screen. It's not like some crazy sprays, like burst, but like really quick transfer, immediate headshot. It's clean. And he's almost going for the clean shaven look. It's much more shaven than I'm used to seeing Flash. He's ditched the beard.
Yeah. It's looking sharp at the moment. I do actually. Yeah.
I mean, you're a bearded man yourself. Yet you're pleased he's without the beard.
Yeah. The thing is, I have to keep the beard, Dan.
It's your brand.
Yeah, but it's also because I look like a child if I don't have it. I don't know why. I don't know why that is.
I know how you feel.
So I just try and avoid that, you know.
Okay.
Apparently, there's 124 ADR in the first map that he has. That's very high of the board for flusha. We'll see how it ends at the end of this one. We've got pistols and armor, and what looks like a bit of a B explosion. Lekr0 and Golden, do you think they can hold on to this, Dan? I mean, done a good job so far.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Lekr0's not in an exposed position, so he should be all right. He's going to be able to get some good damage in there. The kill will come thanks to Golden, who's providing excellent cover there. And Lekr0's falling back, allowing Golden to help him out. Lekr0's not being greedy here, letting his teammates do the job, setting them up. And now it's just Sunny left, and he's got a flank to worry about as well. And let's see if he can get any damage here. Nope. He will be very dead in the kitchen.
Great job. I mean, you're absolutely right, because Lekr0 just sort of, he realized, okay, I'm smoked off. I can't really see what's going on. I'm just going to fall back. And then Golden just showering into the bomb site. It's dangerous path. I'm leading you down, Dan. 15-13. It's the 29th round, and we have the AWP on JW, and 1 on Crims as well, and 1 on Oscar. So 3 of them in play right now. And Mousesports, they need to close this game right now. No more playing around. No more toying with the food. Get that Fnatic cheese and end it.
Let's stay on that, because that's much more innocent and safe than your talk of showers and so on. So we'll have to see now whether the JW can get this up rolling. And we're talking about it and setting it up, but Fnatic have had a troubling time generally. I don't think they've ever really felt too comfortable in getting crazy. And we want to see them get crazy, because they're pretty strong in that position. But the odds for this comeback now to actually make it all the way to overtime, and maybe get to that position, as you said, Anders, where maybe they actually win in overtime, which would be ridiculous. That's looking more and more real.
The classic Counter-Strike scenario involves getting to 14 rounds and then losing right at the end. But we've seen it done in the past as well. Mid-controlled solidly in favor of Mousesports. They've got 4 men there. Rop's checking out the apartments, and JW to open up, getting just the 1. But because they're so close with Stiko in the ladder room, he's going to get the refrag immediately, and this is not looking good for flusha. He's hiding in the shadows. Will get the kill on Chris, and the spray almost continues, nearly taking down Sunny, but as Crims goes down in the CT spawn, it's looking rough for Fnatic. This might be the end, though. Lekr0 being a hero, a cross-map shot to take down Sunny, who was planting the bomb, and now Golden's going to be sneaking in. Rops is waiting for it. He's reading it so well. Very young player, very experienced, and he nearly does it. 19 seconds, and there's Stiko with the kill. 1 more, and they are going to be making it through to map number 3. Lekr0, the only one standing in the way.
And he's got a good chance to do this. A freshly planted bomb. Knows there's a player on the default spot, and he knows the other one is by the CT. I think Lekr0's got a good read, but that's a very good dink tag, using the step to just catch Lekr0 on the head, doing so much damage. In comes Lekr0, and there he goes. Mousesports have made it happen. 3 maps, 16-13 against Fnatic. It all looked over, Anders, but they managed to hold their nerve.
It's a really good sign, being able to close out the game in spite of it being a bit of a tough one at the end, but a lot of credits at them. They played a terrific game. That means we're going to go to map number 3. Stay with us, and we'll be back.
So, welcome back. You can see Fnatic went into this one smiling, but they certainly weren't by the end. A frustrating map. It was Fnatic's pick, and they haven't been able to hold it. Mousesports back in the series, one map apiece. So, gentlemen, we're back here on the desk. Looks like we're going to get all three.
Yep.
Who saw that coming?
They had the gentleman's agreement to win each other's maps.
Yeah, very.
And then we're going to go to Cobblestone, I guess.
Yeah, very nice of them. But let's talk a little bit about Chris J as well. I mean, you know, we talked about how he had a pretty disappointing first day and then a little bit kind of weak in the first map. Well, he's finally starting to show up. And look, I'll always sort of give him credit here. He made way for Oscar. He was the primary AWPer in this team, you know, being a rifler now. Very different discipline. And he did very well on Mirage.
You have to remember that Chris, he was one of the, like he was... oh man, what, like a caterpillar, you know? He had the op with the caterpillar, right?
Nice.
And then when the op nerf came, he had to learn how to play with the rifle, with the shotgun, with the scout. He went with the scout for a long time. He said, I can't go back to the op. And then he relearned how to play with the op. But, Richard, the point is that those skills, when he was metamorphosing into this beautiful in-game leader butterfly that he is today, they stuck with him. He's still got those wings. And so he can still be effective with the rifle if he needs to be. He can still be effective with anything, actually, now. He has become a better player.
You know, a butterfly
all right, David
for like 3 days, right, and it dies.
Have you seen them moths that don't have mouths?
I haven't looked closely at them.
There's a species of moth you can Google. It's nothing to do with the game. Born without a mouth. Bit of an evolutionary oversight there. I certainly hope that doesn't happen to Chris J.
Whoa.
So, anyway.
That's bleak.
It was a great start for Mousesports. I mean, they went up 9-2 in the first half. At one point in the second half, they were 15-8. But Fnatic started to mount the comeback. You started to wonder. It was getting pretty damn close. And
yeah, definitely.
Mousesports were eventually on their last buy there once they finally took it over the line.
I mean, this is the one thing you can say about the series. As good as Mousesports looked there, they did almost let it go. Flusher is here to play. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Maintained his high level. And we've got to say as well, you know, I thought JW had a few moments on this map. He was starting to get a little bit warmed up as well. A few good individual shots. So, you know, you can see that the veterans, they're hanging in there, you know, while Golden tries to reshape them. And there is confirmation indeed. I mean, he's already at 52 kills for the series. Looking very good. Indeed, easily been the best player on the server. So, you know, I mean, do you feel there that maybe Fnatic, you know, they did start really cold? I mean, they went down something like 9-1 right at the start. You know, was that kind of maybe a bit of oversight on their part, perhaps, that they weren't mentally prepared? Maybe they were already kind of thinking ahead to Immortals that you were alluding to?
You want to take this one, Jay? What do you want to do?
What do you want to do? I mean, he was asking you a question.
Oh, he was asking me.
No, it's general.
You got to follow the eyes, man. You got to follow the eyes.
You knew this.
It felt like it was an open-ended question. You know, like
analysis test shenanigans. It's
first to hop, right?
These are general questions.
You know, we're working on it. We're working as a team here. You know, just a little bit of communication. Right?
Well,
since we communicate with pictures, here's what I'll do. Right, this is me.
I'm waiting for it.
These are you.
Can we get buzzers where the light goes on?
Right, and this is words coming out of my mouth, and you two, you know, you have a shared speech bubble there.
Right, you got a camera. You got a camera now.
I actually draw like a caveman.
It looks like a sketch of like Independence Day.
Yeah. You see? And words, that's the words.
But you see, we both put in words. So actually, James, we're supposed to talk at the same time.
Yeah, you see, that's the key there in the hieroglyph.
I understand now, Richard.
Good. Excellent. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. It's plenty
Listen,
more weeks.
A picture, right? What is it that they say? 1,000 words.
Indeed.
There we go.
I'll start with 10 words. From anyone. Please.
Well, right, Fnatic right now, they're looking like... well, I'm wondering if it was Golden, to be fair, right? If he was just able to rally the troops and be like, right, guys, this is it. You know, we took their map, now it's our map. We get to be the ones to decide it. We get to be the ones, and then all of a sudden, Mousesports was like, well, hey, by the way, we know how to play Mirage too, and bopped them on the nose. And it took a little bit of time for Golden to get back in there and have that leadership capacity. I think that's the big thing, right? When it comes down to his strategy, what he's calling in game, it seems like the players are on board with that. JW, right, talking a little bit about how, you know, he is the boss, but is he that leader? That's always one question that we've had with Fnatic, is that they've always kind of struggled. Ever since Pronax is gone, you know, they never really had that leader to fall back on, that leader of men who's going to get them through the rough times or a rough start in a map. And so perhaps it took Golden a little bit of time, you know, to warm up and start being like, right, guys, let's get our heads back in the game, you know?
And Mousesports as well, you know, they did say we're kind of not phased. We had a bad start in Mykonos and we ended up winning that tournament. So they're kind of still mentally in the game.
Yeah, I think they've got enough experience to be able to move past a bad map pretty quickly. You know, it happens to everyone, happens to the best of them. So that's a great answer on Mirage. I think that Fnatic needed to win in 2 maps. I think they're going to be on the back foot moving into Cobblestone. It will be to the advantage of Mousesports, although it's down to Fnatic to prove us wrong. I mean, they did that to me on train in very dominant fashion.
Yeah.
So we'll see. All to play for.
All right, well, where words fail us, at least we've got technology to fall back on. It is now time to get technical, powered by Alienware. And the eyes that we were looking at here are JW's. So let's have a look what he's up to. You can see he's kind of all over the place here, as you'd expect from somebody like him. But this is a great example of sort of knowing the angles and knowing those pre-fire spots where you expect to get contact with an enemy opponent.
You can even see him when he's hearing the footsteps. He's looking with, I mean, you track with your crosshair, but he's looking towards that sound as well, kind of indicating, you know, how everything is tied together in this killing machine that is JW. All the senses hard at work.
Looking at the mini-map as well, but
always got to check that, see where your teammates are so you know what angles are covered, of course.
He's checking to make sure that his name is correct as well.
Yes, very, very important.
Second there. You know,
yeah,
that highlight reel, can't get it wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see there he's having a big drink of some G Fuel, no doubt, and feeling pretty good about the way he's been performing. But, you know, it's all to play for on this next map coming up. So we're going to take a quick break, boys. And then when we come back, we're going to learn how to work together and have speech and everything.
That sounds awesome, Richard.
I can't wait. So it's going to be entertaining, guys. And there will be the deciding map as well. So make sure you join us.
Every day we choose, we might win or lose. This is the dangerous life.
All right, welcome back to E-League. One map apiece between Mousesports and Fnatic, and the next one, it's James's favorite map, Cobblers, as he likes to shout.
Cobobulous. Nice.
Cobobulous, yes, indeed. And you can see actually on this map, Mousesports have certainly played it a lot more. I mean, the win record isn't particularly great. There's not a huge margin there, but it is a map that they're willing to go to in a series. Fnatic have played it a lot less.
Yeah, it's a very common pick for Mousesports. As far as Fnatic are concerned, I think with this new lineup, it's going to be surprised what they have to offer, especially with that really short record. So it's a lot easier for us to look at what Mousesports do on a map and how comfortable they are. But with Fnatic, I think it's going to be a surprise again. Looking at the general vetoes of Mousesports. I think they're comfortable with these 3 picks, and maybe if they could pick any 3 maps themselves, it would be these 3. So again, you expect a strong performance from them. But Fnatic, one question is, if Fnatic come in strong on Cobblestone, then it's going to be a question of how Mousesports can adjust to what Fnatic are doing, depending on what side they're on as well.
Well, just while Sam was having his Bob Ross, moment going on over there, just doing some trees and some mountains and some rivers, I want to ask you about Oscar. He had this huge performance in Mykonos, was one of the standout players for Mousesports, the MVP of the tournament, and hasn't quite hit that level yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mirage is the type of map where he can be extremely explosive and completely destroy people. But again, on Cobblestone, it's a more difficult map for a sniper to be effective, although he is one of the most effective snipers in tight situations. So he'll need to be to help his team take it over the line here.
Yeah, and we'll see if he's able to. As I said, Mirage wasn't great. So, Semler, a picture to show us quickly before we go to the casters?
I'm trying to, okay, but I was figuring this out. I went out real quick. So, we had Mirage, right?
Yes.
And so, Mousesports, they're kind of playing with their food. Took a little bit of time.
Right.
But eventually, they did manage to get a hold of that cheese, right? But they're having fun with it, right? I was picturing that old ad where it's like the mouse that's bench pressing, the mouse trap.
Right. Yep.
That was classic. That was genius marketing right there. But I mean, Mousesports all of a sudden started bench pressing, and they eventually did get to that cheese, right? Well, and so Cobblestone, it's going to be tough. Is the cheese poisoned? Is Fnatic...
That looks like Polonium 210 rather than cheese over there.
Right, well, look, we'll find out. But first, guys, as we go back to the casters, we found a way to see Fnatic in their old form. There it is.
Wow. What on earth is this?
That one is
Damn,
sick.
we've got to go back to the future.
That is actually just very well done.
It's your kids, Dan.
Nice trainers. Sneakers.
Well then. That's actually very well done. Both the Photoshop and also Semler's demented drawings of
I think we should
escalated.
I don't know if you ever had this this old toy, kids toy. Back when I was young, there was this toy called Stretch Armstrong. Did you ever know that one? I feel like they should Photoshop Semler's face on Stretch Armstrong, because some of these drawings, man, it's quite the reach.
All right, well there's something to go for. Well, we've got a cheese-themed match thanks to Semler, so we're just gonna have to stick with it. We can't really get out now.
We're committed.
Yeah, Mousesports and Fnatic here in a best-of-3 to decide who gets to face Immortals later today, which will be a fiery match, no doubt. And we're on the final map, Cobblestone. Mousesports playing on the CT side, Fnatic on the T side, and so far Fnatic have opted for a waiting game. They want to see if Mousesports are going to go crazy and push anywhere, which they're not. So everyone's waiting now.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think this is a great opener, because you have Oscar, who tries to scout for any quick rushes towards A, because normally you'd be afraid of retaking A. B can be oftentimes easier to retake because you can just try to hold on to some of the more defensible positions. But once A is taken and they lock down the double doors and the balcony, it's really impossibly hard as the CTs to get in there. So I like how Mousesports are using a player for information, but now it's just a huge question. So Fnatic, I think, have waited the perfect amount of time, because look at the rotation now from Mousesports. They're starting to move back to A as the push is ready to go into B.
And they're going to sell that just a bit with the peek from Flusher. Is he going to keep Sunny here? He's actually falling back. This is a great read from Mousesports right now. Still thinking about it, but they might have the setup, and I especially like Stiko in that back line by the chicken coop. Jumping down first is Crims. He's going to get shot down. Chris with a second headshot. Finally, there's a reply. And Sunny in the corner by the rock will take down JW. Bomb is down on the floor, but it's only 25 seconds, and they don't even know how to deal with Stiko yet. I don't even think now they realize, and Flusher will take him down. Stiko peeking before the bomb plant attempt is a big mistake. Lekro fighting out in the open now. He's going to try and put it down at least a single time here. Sunny's got a headshot on Flusher, so it's just on Lekro, and they've got him boxed in. 7 seconds, 6 seconds, trying to see if he can rush anyone down. 5 seconds, and he goes down to Oscar. It will be Mousesports winning the round, but that could have gone either way at the end. That was very close. This is nuts from Chris. Oh my God.
No way. That is insane. He was he was actually still a bit partially flashed as well. That is so sick from Chris. Wow. That's quite the start, isn't it? And that's what you want to see on the CT side. Get that economy rolling in. Fnatic unable to get the bomb down. They're going to just go for the force buy, as you would expect. and they're making a move in large part towards the A site. They've got 4 members going down towards these positions. Oscar's waiting for it. Sunny's waiting for it. Sunny spots it, and now the rotation will start to come in from Mousesports. They're in such a good position right now.
Yes, especially because they want that economy, and a double-up setup on this map can be very effective. I don't think we've seen even half of what Oscar can really do with that weapon. I feel like he's slow out the gates in this best of 3, but if he can change it now, it will have been worth the wait. He's just that good at it. Sunny and Oscar holding over on this side. It looks like there could be a lot of action, and Golden has 1 flashbang. Sometimes that's enough.
Absolutely, it can always have the opportunity to turn the tide, but this is a great position from Sunny too. Look at that, JW just unable to answer back at all to that position. Sunny sticks with the position despite not using a silencer, despite his position sort of being given away, but it doesn't matter. It's such a strong position. He knows he's against pistols, and now he will finally drop off as they start to hear all the pins coming out of those grenades, and Mousesports, they know what's going on right now, but they're still holding on to 2 players deep in the B position, so maybe there's a chance for Fnatic.
Yeah, they really don't want to over-rotate, but look at the distance here between the rifles and the pistols. Should be a good fight for Sunny, although Crim's coming in with ridiculous headshots. Flusher to follow it up. My God, what's happening? This should have been easy for Mousesports. They knew what was coming, as you said, and I agree. They fell back to put some distance between them and the guns, and this happened. Crim's happened.
That is insane. That's kind of like there's 2 shots that Chris J made, where it's like 2 incredibly fast shots where there's just no allowance for your opposition to do anything. Basically, there's just no chance, and that's crazy. So, well, how do you explain that one, Anders? How do you explain that one?
Just some Swedish Counter-Strike.
Do you need some A4 paper and a pen? And
yes,
crayons.
Yeah, we could get if we could get someone to the casting desk, maybe he could help us out.
Yeah.
I'd be very interested. Whenever he says cheese, because I've been watching The Wire too much, I just think of Method Man in that role. It's cheese.
And here it is.
It's the best.
Oh, God. And you don't think it can get any more grotesque?
Yeah. Would have been great if he could got the 3rd, but I think that was stolen from him by a teammate. So, well done on Crims. Ties up the scoreline early on. And things always get strange now. This is where you wonder if you're Mousesports. And they'll force into this round. Most people do. Most teams do. Which is just fine. But, yeah, it's a dangerous game to be playing.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's really interesting to see how this will go now, because Mousesports, they are in a position where they have to go for the force buy. So they're not fighting with pots and pans. Or if they are, it's a very... don't know where I'm going with this, but... It's something, Anders. They can fight with something here. They've got...
It's not Team Fortress, Dan.
That's a very good point, yes.
Otherwise, it would be the worst addition to that game, by the way.
I can imagine that you, as a big fan of that game, I can only imagine how emotionally tied you are to those situations.
Yeah, it's interesting for a while, but spiraled out of control. Lecro charging in here, and Oscar will get the 1 kill, but a good follow-up there. Nice little train coming in towards the A-bomb site. Looked like a bit of a failed grenade on one of them, and now they're taking a long time. And I don't like this slowdown from Fnatic. If you really want to commit to this, and it looks like they're not even sure if this is strange.
I agree.
At this point, just give this one up. You've got 50 seconds.
It's really weird because I feel like they made a really good decision to go together against worse weapons. They can trade in this very wide sort of position that is the middle ramp into the A-bomb site. They have good timing. And that's like the perfect scenario for you. However, they are rotating through the B, and it looks like it could work out, though.
Look how far up Stiko is. He's going to have very advanced warning. Golden goes down, but he sees the bomb. So now they definitely know what's up. There's 20 seconds left, and they are going to get onto the bomb side here. Robs, I don't think he can stop them. He only has a pistol, so it's going to be hard for him to shut down the entire Fnatic team coming through. 14 seconds now, and there's Chris down. What a great spray, followed up by JW to take down Robs. And Sunny walking in behind. Great decision-making for Fnatic. This was way more about the decisions than it was about the aim.
Yeah, this worked out really well. I like it. I didn't have the utmost confidence sometimes, because one of those situations where you're like, well, this is a good situation for you. Are you going to risk it? But it worked. They read it very well, and it worked out fantastically for them. And it's quite the turnaround. After that pistol round, Mousesports, they looked like they were in a great position to sort of get some momentum going, but they've been stopped right at the beginning before they could get going, and now they have to eco. on the CT side of Cobblestone, it's never fun. And I'm always curious to see, you know, how much effort is put into the anti-eco of a team in this position, because you can run such well-routined and precise drills with all the grenades and so on. And some teams are more lazy with it than others.
Yeah. Like Fnatic just saying, Lekro, you go and clear out drop and see what happens after that. We'll make up our minds. It is working just fine, though. Stiko did run down 2 players close range to pick up M4. Could have been a third, but Lekro will close it out. 3 kills with the MAC-10, and he steals the M4 as well. So all good right now. 1-3, and the 5th round is coming up here, and Mousesports have rifles once again. Doesn't look like it's going to be any AWPs, though. No, indeed. So that's a bit of a shame. Again, when you have someone like Oscar, you want that gun on him.
Yeah, it looks like, if they lose this round, it's going to be a long time until we see it. And I like it from the perspective that they are able to get a lot more grenades. And still, you know, they're not in a position where they have all the grenades, even with that decision to give up the AWP for that. So I have to see if that's successful. Obviously, we saw this setup here on A being taken advantage of. I think it's by Immortals, actually, where they were able to actually just slowly push one player down middle, and he managed not to be spotted through danger. So they just realized, oh, they're playing a 2-3 setup, and there's no one in middle. And then they creep the entire team up there. That's like the one weakness, is the blind spots when you play a 2-man setup on the A-long position. But Fnatic are taking a very slow pace because they're trying to give JW that time to work their AWP.
Yeah, he's very clearly being used as a bit of an instrument to try and open up on a bomb site, but interestingly, Mousesports aren't really giving him many choices. They're just controlling long, and they say, fine, if you want to go up the ramp in middle, you can, but by the time you meet Robs, we're going to be shooting at the side of your face as well, so it's going to be a bit of a trap if they end up heading towards the A bomb side. Golden is sneaking down into drop, though, but Chris will take him out. That's a hugely important kill now for Fnatic. Surely the game is up. Mousesports must know what's coming next. And Oscar hiding in this little fortress to take down Flusher. This is all completely falling apart.
This read from Mousesports is so strong. Great positional plays, great team play.
Yeah.
Managed the situation really calmly.
As soon as Golden goes down and drop, I mean, if Golden had won the fight against Chris, I think they would have won the round. But when he doesn't, and then they hear the grenades on A, they know. They definitely know what's coming. Yeah, this is a critical kill for Chris.
It's a great off angle, too. He set it up so wonderfully well.
Yeah.
And Mousesports, I mean, they have some fire in them. I like this. It means we'll be able to hopefully see an AWP, indeed we will, from Chris J. And now with that AWP in hand, will things start to get interesting? Of course, you are somewhat limited on the CT side, but it is just fun to see Chris J pulling that trigger.
He can be very fast, and Fnatic surely know it. And because they don't have an AWP of their own right now, are they going to try and see if they could use the grenades instead? Lots of these positions that you can grenade out, especially the one that Chris is in right now. We saw Config when North were playing this map was very good at throwing Molotovs to the chicken coop from the plateau without really showing himself too much. So that could be a theme here. Chris is going to be moving all the way in. Still scoped up. Doesn't want to scope too much in case he gives up the position. Stiko's behind him as well, so it's an interesting setup. Stiko could go down to Lekro's Molotov if they eventually go and check it.
And this is interesting right now because we're at 50 seconds and Mousesports don't know 100% what's happening. I love the timing of the re-smoke here. This makes it much more awkward for Fnatic to run the execution, and now Mousesports starting to push in. They're starting to understand what's going on. They've got a great setup. Oscar's flank timing is going to be impeccable, but there is a player looking for this. Flush is going there to watch the back, and that's a great spray through the smoke here. Down to Chris J, but he can't get much.
This is very sad to watch. Oscar did get the kill, but Mousesports had set themselves up so nicely. Sunny going to be going down, and Rob's in the back with the M4. There's a headshot once, drops the bomb as well. And with 15 seconds, it's suddenly a 2 versus 2. Let's see what he can do. He's looking for the triple. The bomb is now being planted right in front of him. He gets the triple, and there's the kill from Oscar to close out the round. What a great play from Robs. He was kept his cool all the way through. That was about to unravel for Mousesports, but that young player just coming in big in this round.
Oh, absolutely. One of the things I love about Robs is when you see him in these clutch spots like this, it's so rare he's just not super calm. Like, like some players might, their mouse movement might be a bit more chaotic because he knows in that position that he's making the play that wins or loses the round for his team, a very important round. Yet he's still just very clean as if it was any other situation. And that's one of the things I like about him. And that's going to be the 3-3. And more importantly, Fnatic on a very poor economy again, giving Mousesports an opportunity to claim momentum. And in knowing that, they pick up the MP9 for Sunny.
Should point out, those were the only 3 kills that Robs has this game, or at least this map. So that's a high-impact round. Just won it almost on his own. Fnatic charging over at long, looking for a fight, and they're going to get it. Sunny somehow not able to return the damage. That's a bit of a shame, but a bit weird.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing too is that he was attacking, like, it was perfect for him. He was attacking a player with an MP9 when that player didn't have a helmet as well. So he's quite unfortunate not to just get the kill pretty quickly there. And in fact, as you say, he didn't really do much at all. And now it really falls upon Oscar, and Oscar's going to hear some of the grenades thrown over. And now I think for Mousesports, they're wondering, actually, hang on, is this actually going to be an A play? Because they're starting to drift, they're starting to rotate towards A, but we can see on the minimap that Fnatic are setting up B as well.
Yes, they are. Golden trying to make his presence more than it is on that side. Shooting through the smoke is rarely much of a selling point. That's a nice smoke coming in from Fnatic, making sure the players holding at the door can't really see anything now. They've made the crossover. The bomb is going to be, won't be going down. I thought JW was going to be there. He does get a kill, and Letcrow with a headshot. Still a bit of time, but Letcrow's alone. 1 versus 2, looking for more. He thought that was going to happen. Robs now doubling his kills to 6.
I think you're right there. That was definitely greedy by JW. He's thinking, oh man, I want to play this smoke. I want to get through the smoke. I want to get some kills, as opposed to, hang on, there's a gap in the smoke, and we really need to get that bomb down. And if the CTs want to actually push us, they have to go through that gap in the smoke. And so that's unfortunate that it turned out that way. Had the bomb gone down, who knows what Fnatic could have accomplished.
Certainly would have had a bit more money in this round. 4-3 though. Mousesports, I think, are they're on the right path here. That's some fantastic spray from Flusher. So dirty, isn't it? Taking down Oscar, but a great refrag from Sunny. This time he comes out on top, and he does stop for a minute and thinks, wait, I can't just run back. I've got to smoke it off. Now he's lingering around a bit, but might be worth it to just fall back here.
I actually love that play from Flusher because I think Flusher's thinking there, if the CT is pushed just even a little bit away from danger, like towards A long in the deep spots, or even more defensively, I'm going to beat his timing by just running straight up middle, and I'm going to cause a rotation just because they know I'm doing that. And that's going to allow my team to have all these openings. So I think he's unlucky that he just went down in that sense, but his team's still alive with a chance here, and this boost though from Sunny could be critically damaging for Fnatic, and indeed, it looks like it's good enough to shut down the round. It's just Crims who remains.
Tapping away, taken down by Stico. 5-3. No bomb plant for Fnatic, not in the last round either. That's going to start to stack up. That's a lot of money that they're missing out on. So, and yes, I mean, the fact that Sunny just kept looking middle, said, Robs, you've got the bomb, that's fine. Didn't really need to do much. Very well done indeed. And Fnatic, they're gone for a tactical timeout. I think they may have.
Yeah, I wonder what their read of the situation will be. I think, honestly, the style of play that they were talking about, that you play like a very solid default and you branch off of it as to how you see your opponent's defense being, I think that's an amazingly good way to play Cobblestone, because it's really hard for the CTs to actually get a push, and it's much easier for the Ts to make the round always look the same. So it should be a suitable side for Fnatic.
I agree. Now, can you phrase that in the form of a cheese metaphor?
I really need to cook. Where's the Semler? There should be a button to call Semler in here.
Summoning Semler. The 9th round is about to commence. It looked like Fnatic wanted to put a lot of speed behind this. Chris is going to stop JW right in his tracks, and Stico's on the bomb site. Mousesports, they don't really need to swing out wide here. Just wait. You've got everything covered. You've got Sunny right behind the door here. This should all be just fine. Crims did get a kill on Chris, and all they need to do is hold tight, and that's going to be the end of the round here. 6-3. Man, that's a lot of rounds from Mousesports on the CT side Cobble.
It really is, honestly. And if you consider that They won the pistol. It was crazy stuff from Chris, and then the immediate like double deagle from Crims to like win that. In fact, no, it wasn't even the force buy. It was the following. Was it the following? It doesn't even matter. Either way, the point is the fact that Mousesports didn't actually start off very well at all, yet they've still been able to convert a 6-3, which really gives you a lot of confidence. As you said, if you get that strong CT side, we expect Mousesports to be able to carry that on the third map to a victory, and that would, of course, in doing so, eliminate Fnatic. So big pressure on them.
Yeah, it's starting to look a bit questionable, Fnatic. They like taking long, and they've been pretty successful. There's JW taking down Robs. That's a huge kill to start the round off with, and Oscar has to fall back. That smoke makes him very nervous. He's also alone on that side. I feel like Fnatic have great success taking mid and long. They just don't always do anything with it.
And that's half the battle, isn't it? Is once you get that map control, how do you convert? I think that's an age-old difficult thing to answer on Mirage as well. And Chris J, he knows how to answer things, just pushing in with the AWP, gets himself a cheeky angle, gets ahead of the push, picks off a player. That is going to cripple Fnatic now as they are down in numbers, down to 4. But still even to Mousesports 4 as well, as Oscar goes in for a look in here. What's going on in A-Long? Smoke dissipates. Netflix comes in. Great stuff there from Oscar. And now Fnatic are a bit desperate. They've got to go for B.
It's a very refreshing CT side for Mousesports. Sort of late round aggression, taking peaks and fights when Fnatic aren't expecting it. You don't always see that. People get very complacent playing CT side Cobble. JW turning around at exactly the wrong time. That's not good news. He's going to go for the fight, but he is down. And Flusher and Golden, surely they should have no chance here. The bomb is dropped right in front, and Flusher with a great headshot. But it will be the end of the round here. 7-3. And right now, I'm worried for Fnatic.
Yeah, they're in this horrible spot where now the money's starting to get like very out of hand for Mousesports, which means that there's no real easy rounds ahead for Fnatic. There's going to be a hard grind against buy upon buy, and we get a pause here. It can only be a timeout, a tactical timeout for Fnatic. Indeed, it is. Fnatic taking a moment to discuss exactly what they want to do. Let's see if Jumpy can give them a hand as well.
Going over the last battle plan, saying, I don't understand. We put the cheese in the mousetrap, and you know that was the plan. That was all we needed to do, and somehow it's not working. How can that fail?
I don't know. It seems like a very natural thing. You know, we to be fair, actually, as I say that, you know, I mean, this is some Tom and Jerry action, really, in that sense. You know, the mouse is outsmarting the what should be the apex predator in that situation.
Yeah, that's a good reference. I like it. Maybe Semler could draw some of that for us. I would enjoy it.
Yep.
Oscar is doing very well. He's just got slightly over 100 ADR, so it's nice to see him having an impact. Still think he could be doing even more, but he's not really feeling comfortable with the AWP, it seems. And Chris is going to continue on to it. They don't have the double setup either, even though they had the money for it. Uncomfortable grenade landing at JW's feet.
Yeah, I always love these nades because it really makes sense because of the forward smoke the CTs play. It makes it so that the T's don't want to give up that map control by just hiding behind the smoke. So to push forwards, you're going to have to hold that fort here because Chris J is going to receive the full force of the Fnatic force as they come in with these pistols. The CZ's raining true. The Tech 9, in fact, being the one to do the damage as we'll get Robs tapping away by the statue. But he needs help. Desperately needs help, or perhaps he doesn't. Pushes out from the smoke, gets himself an extra one. Now as the bomb needs to go down, but it doesn't even matter. The pistol's doing insane amounts of damage, but Oscar cutting off the path to that bomb as he comes in from the back with the M4, but Lecro turns his eye, and that'll be the end of Oscar. Wow, explosive stuff.
It's a great opening for Fnatic, but I mean, it's really impressive. Robs pushes in behind the flashbang, but why doesn't Sonny get this kill on Lecro? It seemed like he had everything going for him. I mean, it's really impressive by Lecro saving that round for his team, but I'm still confused as to why Mousesports didn't just sort of pick it up relatively easily. So, a window back in maybe for the Fnatic team. It's been a while since they've had anything to say here on Cobblestone. 7-4 and 12th round. AWP on JW, and now we've got the Oscar and Chris J double setup.
Absolutely. We've been waiting a while for this to see as much AWPing as possible from Oscar and Chris J, so I'm happy that we're getting there. And Fnatic looking like they do want to keep things simple. See how effective that is. Slower approach here. Not using as many grenades. And oh, there's a spot, and that's very dangerous. ChrisJ has to hit the shots. Connects onto Lekro. Very crucial. However, the pressure from Crims, the splits from drop zone, it was looking good, but Chris, he's going absolutely insane! ChrisJ! Do you need anyone else there? 4 kills for him, and the round is Mousesports.
I mean, that's just so outrageous.
Is that you?
You know what you did, Chris? Don't look at us like that. You know exactly what you did. Holy hell. Look at this.
You're kind of talking about it like he's a pet that's just, you know, gotten into the pantry or something. I mean, looking very innocent. It's like, you know what you did.
It is a sniper rifle. It has a scope on it. You're supposed to look into that scope before you fire at people. It's not a shotgun.
That's very true.
Well then. 8-4, and we are moving into the 13th round as Fnatic, they had just a bit of hope, a sprinkle of hope there, and just gets completely taken away by ChrisJ. Very brutal indeed now. Again, they've got control of danger, but it doesn't give them that much. Sunny and Oscar are going to be falling back and just saying, all right, fine, you can have it. You haven't done that much with it so far. It could be an A crunch here if JW and Golden can make it down drop and take out Robs.
I like it, you know, fast map control. It's always good to see, and it's really cool too that they have danger and the bomb is currently there. So there's lots of, again, we see this. I think you pointed this out, Anders. You know, we're seeing map control here from Fnatic on a variety of rounds, but they're not converting on it as you'd like to see. And right now they're getting really just taken advantage of by these AWPs. I suppose it's really fitting that ChrisJ is the one to no-scope the likes of JW, though, in the previous round. I guess it's, you know, only fair.
Some justice in the simulation, you're right. Oscar with another couple of, I think 3 kills, in fact, in that round as we move into the 14th, nearing the end of the half and also the end of this series here. And Fnatic just look, again, a bit lost, as they also did slightly on Mirage. Not quite the same power and the same role that they had going on Train. Got to be a bit worrying. Jumpy trying to get the troops back and fired up here. But for the 14th round, I mean, I wonder. Mousesports look very confident and comfortable right now.
They really do, and it's very encouraging to see because it's, again, after, you know, some of the trials and tribulations that they've experienced, after the recent results in, you know, Mykonos and the recent confidence given to them, that it's very depressing for you to see inexplicable failure after that. You know, it's like, wait, we just can't play our game now? That's what's happening there. So it's good to see that they're getting the ball rolling.
Okay. They're going to keep running through the fire right into Robs' open arms, and that's just silly. Golden goes down last. I hope that wasn't what the tactical timeout was about. Although we have seen in the past in this game that Fnatic have had issues with fire and exactly how it functions.
A lot of teams tend to like to take that tactical timeout right before, instead of like this round now. Yeah. They like to take it before the eco round starts. Yeah. As well sometimes. So perhaps that's what it was all about. That said,
last chance. One more. That seems excessive.
They figured out how fire works now, Anders. So
yeah. So hold on. The plan was great up until the point where the fire was on the floor. They don't have any more timeouts either, by the way. So that in itself is a bit strange. Don't always see that. Usually people save a couple for the end if it happens. Especially rough if you're in overtime suddenly and you don't have any. Well, I mean, this is a really interesting game. I wasn't really seeing Mousesports get this deep into it, especially not on the CT side, especially after they won the pistol and then lost the follow-up round. I thought, oh no, this is Fnatic's time to shine, and then they brought it back.
I completely agree. I think it's somewhat due to the fact that there is still work to be done for Fnatic. I think you really put it very well. Just that there is the struggle to develop the mid rounds once you get some of the map control out of these defaults that they go to time and again. And we'll see whether or not they can just eke out this last round. They've got a few AKs, a few grenades left at this point, and they'll just get that split onto the B-bomb site. But it's going to be tough against Mousesports because they look pretty hot right now.
Oh, it's a big presence and drop right here for Mouse, though. This could get dangerous. Golden goes down, Lekro as well. Why can't they get the openings here? Finally, Flusher is there with one, but it's way too late. He's got a couple of kills, and Chris will take him down. 11-4 finish in the first half in favor of Mousesports here. 5 more rounds, and they will make it through to play Immortals in the next game. It's not quite done yet, but what a first half it was. We'll be back right after the break with the second half. Stay with us. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. First half is done, and what we have here is Chris J just pushing the boundaries of reality, Dan, taking down everybody with absolute ridiculous no-scopes. They just couldn't put a stop to him, and in the end it was 11-4, and you see how he's actually improved quite dramatically throughout the day. Train was the first map, then Mirage, then Cobblestone, 107 ADR towards the end here.
Yeah, it's great to see him get going in this way, and Chris is an interesting player to watch. Sometimes quite emotional. You can read him quite well, and even in a lot of these great moments, even though we see that improvement in performance, he's still just as focused and razor sharp. When you look at him, his face is just intensity, and you can see why this is an incredibly important match. They position themselves wonderfully. Imagine if they were to win this pistol. It's a must for Fnatic here to have a chance.
Rushing down, we spoke about Chris, and he's leading the charge with the C-set 75. There's only one person on the A-bomb side, that's Flusher. If he goes down, this could unravel quick. Golden with a headshot, though, dropping Chris, and a second to take down Sunny, and Flusher comes sneaking out of the vent to take down Stiko. And I mean, that was almost good for Mousesports, but they got slowed down enough by Golden's double kill, and then it just fell apart.
The Flusher move out the vent there reminded me, for some reason, of if you played Half-Life 1 single player. I'm sure you did, Anders. There's like the ninjas that are coming out the vents and stuff.
Yeah, I played it like 2 years ago. I replayed the campaign.
Awesome, awesome.
It's that good.
It is very good.
Whenever I run into people who say they haven't played it, it makes me sad. I stop talking to them.
It's worse than not having seen Star Wars.
Yes.
It's like on the same level, almost.
Don't say that to Richard. Say it to Moses.
Okay.
Rob's now waiting in drop, or above drop, hoping that someone Fnatic will make a huge mistake. Because surely he's not saving the Glock.
Yeah, and it may seem like, oh, what's the point? But he can get extra money, which can be an extra smoke grenade, at the very least. There's definitely a lot to play for in that situation. So I do respect Rob's, just taking his time and trying to get whatever he can out of this situation. And especially considering the fact that, once again, this is a pretty decisive pistol victory here for Fnatic, and you know, that CT side can be tough, but obviously, if you are able to get the momentum, get the AWPs first, play at least at your comfort by winning that pistol, then you know it can become problematic. And we've seen Mousesports have struggled sometimes to keep their foot on the gas, and you know when things like this happen. So I'd be curious to see if Fnatic can hold on to things here, or if these Deagles will be just enough to break them.
3 of them, in fact, and we'll see what they could do. Rob's certainly one of those players that has the raw aim to make this one-shot pistol work. Looking for it on Lekro, but not finding it. That will be a bit of a warning shot to Lekro, though, saying, you know, maybe don't peek that too much. Might not be worth it.
Especially after that Mirage 2-1-D that he had on a round just like this.
It's great damage onto Robs. Lekro did the first, then some grenade follow-up, and now he's down to 24. If Fnatic can win these next couple of rounds to make it 11-7, then, I don't know, it's an open game again. Rob's charging in close with the Deagle and knocking out JW. Lekro goes down as well. Mousesports trying to get back in quick here in the second half. They have the bomb plant as well. This is already a fabulous round for them, but could Sunny do more with the Deagle? He's down on the low ground now. Was a good flashbang. They've lost Oscar, and Sunny's fallen away as well. Stika will drop. Bit close for comfort there.
Wow, the damage there. How did Robs just... He was on, as you said, he took so much damage. He had like 25 health or something. Oh, there's some fire there. I'll just run through that and quickly one-shot someone with the Deagle. Makes a lot of sense. That is crazy. They almost got 4 kills there. In fact, very winnable round in the end. Beautiful work from Mousesports, and Fnatic will be feeling that round for a couple rounds to come.
Now, did Mousesports tempt themselves to go for something crazy here? It's one of those things because it was down. It was a 2-on-2 at the end. So that's one of those positions where sometimes a T side will think, okay, we got the economic damage. We could have bought maybe like 1 or 2 AKs and then, you know, C sets for the rest. We'll go for it. But Mousesports have not. They want all the rifles. They feel confident in the T side.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I love when a team does show confidence in having all the guns and utility and saying, you know what, we'll just outplay you. And instead of trying to get a bit lucky and play the odds more. And some teams do prefer that style, but Mousesports definitely a team that has, or likes to have, a structured approach. And right now just chilling. They've got the Deagles, a couple of Deagles here to try to get some additional damage done. And it's a shame that Rops took that initial damage. We won't be seeing him with a Deagle for the rest of the round now. Being passed on to teammates with healthy situations, and looks like a similar round as to the last one.
One flashbang set up, probably going to force JW back. Lekro, though, still in position. Actually, JW does get the kill. Good job all around on Fnatic here. It's a nice headshot from Oscar. Good they gave him the Deagle. That's 2 kills in the round for him, and this really matters. This is really important right now for Mousesports to do the damage, get some of those rifles away. Couldn't get the third, but that's still a pretty good job overall. Now, Mousesports are going to have an economy. It's going to be pretty good as well.
Yeah, they've done so much good work here. And I really like that you can see in these rounds that they have a strong sense of what they want to accomplish. I don't think they're under any illusions that they can necessarily like get a bomb plant. I don't think that's the main priority in those rounds Mousesports are playing. They're thinking, we have the Deagles, we want to get economic damage. We're going to play the round to focus on that goal first. If we can get a bomb plant too, that's great. But moving into the buy versus buy situation, Mousesports have already sent Fnatic a little bit off balance with the damage that they've done in the previous rounds. Now, if they were to win this round, Fnatic would be in a lot of trouble, economically speaking. So this is a really important one.
You are absolutely right. The Swedish team just don't really have the money. They can't start to lose rounds now. Oscar and Robs are playing very well at the moment for Mousesports, and for all the Mousesports fans out there, that's what you want to see. That's so good to have them on the top of the scoreboard. We've been asking about Oscar and where he's been for a while now, but this game he's certainly shown up. Sunny gonna try and fight the fire, and he runs right into Flusher with the AWP. Kribis gets one, but he couldn't follow it up, and Flusher not gonna go and take the fight, which is smart. They still have the man lead. Robs is down and drop, and he's gonna be knocking JW out of the round. Almost the second fight there, but Golden will come out on top.
Yeah, that's a really nice shot by Golden. Robs was fast, but not fast enough in this instance, and that could be the move that changes things here for Fnatic as they move to a man advantage. or stay rather with the man advantage, and Mousesports start to meander their way towards the B-bomb site. There's only one man to respond initially, that's Lekro, and he's going to start to communicate that the grenades are down. That's a great counter grenade there, forces the use of smoke, slows them down. Now the rotation's coming in. Bomb drop, there's the trade coming in from Oscar. Bomb collected, 20 seconds to plant it though. This is a tough one for Oscar, but we saw it from him yesterday. Even a worse situation, he managed to pull it out the bag, but he can't this time. Golden once again, very quick.
It's nicely done for Fnatic, and I mean, that counter Molotov was so good. That essentially cancels out the flashbang that Oscar was putting in. That was supposed to set up the whole thing. They had to wait, and then that flashbang meant nothing at all. So that's incredibly well done. 11-8. Fnatic clawing their way back, crawling out of the grave. The cheese still alive.
I don't know where you're going with this. The grave, the grave, and the... I don't know. It's getting really weird, Anders. It's getting super weird.
Maybe like it's like molten cheese, but it gets better as it, you know, as it gets worse. Does that make sense?
That can be a thing, I'm sure. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to be a supportive co-caster, but I'm struggling. And
I appreciate it, Dan.
I'm trying to help you out, man.
Listen, I've told you we're blaming Sam for this. He's the one who architected this whole cheese narrative that we're trying to keep up with.
I know, right? I'm interested as to how the conclusion will pan out now. I'm really invested.
Yes.
Either way, we'll have a bit more of it until this one's closed out. We've only on round 20 here. Some damage attempted by Mousesports as they work with the pistols, but unfortunate so far. They are being ultimately just mowed down by the superior firepower of the Fnatic side. Now the Swedes, they are a mere few rounds away from Mousesports. It's closing up. Are Mousesports losing the grip of this match?
I mean,
there's no rounds for them yet.
No, there's none. With the 11 rounds they got in the first half, I think that, I mean, again, it's a heartbreaking moment if they can't close out the game. They were able to do it on Mirage, even though it wasn't easy. This time they look to be struggling a bit more, and what's worse, Fnatic's economy is starting to slowly creep in the right direction. Mousesports could buy whatever they want in this round. I'm interested to see how they're going to try and play this. I would actually like to see just a regular old B execute. Two drop, 3 plateau, wall off the bomb side, try and see what happens.
And they can even pull it off, you know, even with the AWP, it can work fine. North they showed the execution of that with the AWP yesterday. It can work really, really well. I love that thing where you do that a couple of times and then you just go for the super fast timing down at A mid. Just to counter any four-man setups early in the round from the CTs on the B-bomb side, but Mousesports have been opting for these defaults. And we saw that on Train as well, that they didn't really like to go for the set pieces all that much, which I found quite strange. Looking to instead get things done by trying to push positions, but you rely upon your players hitting those entries. And if they don't hit the entries...
Look at how far Robs is. JW has no idea. Robs, if he could have opened up on Lekro, that would have probably been the round, but Lekro's a bit too quick with the stolen AK-47. Trying to get more tapping away towards the plateau, and Mousesports looks like they want to follow this up. Sunny's up there with the bomb now. He's dropped down to the low ground and making his way onto the bomb site. And Fnatic on the other side scattering, trying to see if they can find the right angle, trying to look over the smoke, and Sunny's got to kill Stiko as well. And there's another one. Stiko with a double, leaves Lekro alone in a 1 versus 3, and he's got no chance at all. Big round for Mousesports.
There it is. Opportunistic play, as you say, off the back of Rops's forward position, gets the entry frag, creates the space for Mousesports to move in, and they hit the shots they need to along the way with that good team play and the use of utility. Really great round in that sense from Mousesports, and you see JW not really too impressed. Not too impressed.
No, definitely a bit annoyed at that one, and I mean, the fact that Robs has snuck in all that way, I think JW was just scoping on the other side. He just wasn't even aware of what was going on there. So that's a big problem.
Yeah, that's one of like the worst ways for your teammate to die, because you feel terrible because you made the mistake to allow that player in that position. You're supposed to be watching that, and then your teammate feels annoyed. It's like, come on, that's not my job.
Yeah,
but I'm sure Fnatic are it's not going to get to them.
No, those kind of debates you tend to take after the game and not in the next round. Though, I mean, for up-and-coming teams, that's a big problem. That happens way too often. Where someone says, I thought you said it was clear. I thought you'd already checked that. You know, not the kind of vibe you want at this level. 22nd round, scoreline 12-9. And now Fnatic's economy became a really big deal because otherwise they would have had to eco. But they did have enough to buy in this round. Still got a chance to keep it alive. If Mousesports win this one, though, they're going to be excruciatingly close to winning the game. Sunny flashing himself in on long, and Crims will have heard those flashbangs, so he's going to fall back.
Yeah, sensible play out of Fnatic. And 40 seconds to go, they know that Mousesports need to commit something quite soon, and when they start to see the first grenades, it's unlikely it's going to be some elaborate fake. It's more likely to be a commitment onto a bomb site. Oh, that's not supposed to happen. That's a missed smoke. That's very unfortunate. I wonder which smoke was missed there.
I think it was the door one.
Oh, yes, right.
Or it's the one in the middle, but yeah, there's a huge gap in the middle in front of the truck. Is it going to cost them? It will. JW had the opening. So one simple mistake and Chris is now dead. There's 9 seconds left. Fnatic looking really good in this round. Crim's going to get a quick double with the FAMAS. And Stiko and Rob are saying, well, that's it. We're just going to leave. Stiko does take a couple of people with him, though. Not bad.
Yeah, this is very problematic, and it could just be by the nature of the fact that the team is so new that we're seeing perhaps a lack of the executions because perhaps it goes like this too often and they just miss the smokes, or because this is a bit messy from Mousesports.
See, I wonder, did people call it out, or you know, I think it was Chris that went down to the gap in the smoke there. So his friend, he's coming up from the ramp, right? So his friend's telling him, don't worry, Chris, the wall is down. Worry, just trust in us. Fingers crossed it's all going to work out great. Man, that's a terrible way to lose a round, because otherwise, what a cool setup.
No, absolutely. That's the thing. It's like you didn't even get to play the round properly. So it's like, you know, you set everything up and you're looking to be in an advantageous position and you don't even know if it was going to work or not, because if your call was good or not, because you messed up the play. And that's, again, a cheeky peek from Crims. And he's going to fall back, and the smoke is down to protect himself. He's got the pop flash there as well to get himself into a new position. And they're not going to force the issue. Crims has done phenomenally well here.
Still sticking around. Bit of a flashbang that he doesn't and shouldn't try and capitalize on through the smoke. Definitely not worth it. Plus, they have the man lead, so just keep it cool. He's got a bit of a setup here with Golden. Him and Crims. Very hard if someone peeks them to get both the kills. And instead, Mousesports are deciding, look, we're going to move the other side. But look at the damage they've taken, and they've lost Oscar. This is going to be very tough. How did they get back in this round, Dan?
Well, without the sufficient amount of grenades, they're going to need a lot of fortune. Lady Luck needs to play into their hands as they are now going to suffer the grenades of Lecro and the follow-up fragging power that he has from Stairs, and there's no positioning to work from, there's no teammates to work from. Flusher unable to style upon Stiko, yeah, but that's fine.
Why is he trying? Did they lose the AWP to that? Yeah, they did. I mean, it's just...
All right, that's fine.
It's just, it's not actually even a small thing. That's actually a big thing. I have no idea why he did that.
It's loving life, Anders, that's why.
Well, yeah, I mean, just not his own. I don't understand. Well, I mean, that's a rebuy that he's actually not even going to rebuy the AWP. He's just decided to give up on it, but still a bit of a shame, I would say. Great job from Lecro. 12-11, and Mousesports with a tactical timeout now, wondering how do we put a halt to this Swedish train? How do we make it stop?
It is definitely very scary, isn't it, at this point, because...
If it was a Danish train, all it would take were leaves, Dan.
Yeah.
Public transportation in Denmark's horrible.
Really? Is it that bad? Yes. Because I was going to say, like, in the UK, I was already, like, thinking about that. In the UK, we need, like, 1 centimeter of snow, and that's just GG for the entire country. Yep. Chaos. We have no infrastructure to handle this.
I'm glad to hear that it's not just Denmark, then. We suffer from similar things. It does surprise the transportation system every time it happens.
Yeah.
Flashbangs are coming in towards Drop Golden. Not flashed, but half the Fnatic or Mousesports team were. And he's going to get a good couple of kills there. It will steal the AK-47, but doesn't make up for the fact that they don't have any armor. So they made some progress, but it's hard to see how they get out of this. This is very creative, though.
Yeah, I love this one. Will not amount to too much, though, just yet. But Mousesports, I mean, they can afford to just... okay, never mind. They got annihilated. They got deleted from the simulation, Anders.
Yes, and I mean, they were just trying to boost. There was there's a whole friendship thing going on there, but that gets cancelled, and now the scoreline is tied up. We are at 12-12 after Mousesports. In the second half, they've won only one round. Every other round has gone to Fnatic. This is bad news, isn't it? Oh, no.
Tragic.
At least they went at the same time. No one had to miss the other one. It's good.
Oh, man. Well, you know, as they say, worse things happen at sea. As James knows. James, he's on a dive recently, puked during the dive into his.
I heard about that, and apparently it's such a common thing that that everybody knows about it who's into diving. So
yeah, but
still, I think that's a good story.
Puking into a regulator does not sound like too much fun, I must admit.
12 as we move into the 25th round after the timeout here. Mousesports, what is going to be the plan? I mean, there's lots of things they haven't tried yet, so there's still options. I still feel like they sort of failed the execute before where they tried to cut up the A-bomb side the other way. That could be interesting to see again, and if not that, maybe at least just get the long control early on, which it looks like they're trying to do here with Sonny and Oscar on a bit of a skirmish towards that side of the map.
It doesn't really seem to be an issue, like having all the nades going to the right spots. Robs, though, that's important. Gets a quick pick off into the B-bomb site. And he's looking for more here, trying to gain even more ground towards the nice vantage point that is the plateau position. But they will back away, actually, ultimately. And with Crimson in this position, this could be interesting now that two members of Mousesports have made their way into A. Does Crimson have any idea? This is really weird.
No, Crimson doesn't know, but then they don't know Crimson is here either. Are they going to boost up?
Oh, this is amazing.
This can end badly in 100 different ways for Mousesports. Like, they've got 99 chances to win this, but Crims is maybe the thorn in their side. It depends on where the bomb goes eventually. And Oscar is just looking all over the map. There's finally a kill on Flusher. Now they probably feel pretty sure, and Crims goes down. Sunny goes back and checks, and that should open it up. That's very thorough work coming out here of the Finnish player. JW and Golden now in a horrible position. 2 versus 4. 30 seconds left. Golden hoping for a headshot, but he's going to get taken down. Sunny again doing the work, and that should be the round. Oh, and JW running in with a knife out. Waiting is Robs on the other side. 13-12. And Fnatic, oh god, they've got the money to buy in this round if they want. Only Golden can't, but this looks like Mousesports are reasserting a bit of control in this game.
Yeah, this is like that. Going into round 26, having money problems now is really bad. And if Fnatic, as you say, are in this spot where they actually lose this round, Mousesports' chances to actually win this series just skyrockets. So the interesting thing here is that obviously Mousesports are going to realize this. So they need to pick the round which they feel has the highest chance of success right now. It's so important that they just close this one down. The implications are just insane. And I mean, what do you think they should go to, Anders?
I think the weird thing is that so many of these rounds that have been built for Mousesports now have actually just been Robs on the plateau. And it's you know, it's a hard call to make, right? He's done an amazing job. So in a way, you should feel confident saying, Robs, just go and get us another kill at the plateau, you know, just get one more go ahead. But it's also one of those things where what's the plan B if that doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
So I honestly would probably just do it. And this is how people started playing Cobblestone. I mean, way back in the day, it was the likes of Wolfmeister on Fnatic who would sort of, you know, be a bit of an expert playing the plateau and just going for it. And it seems like they are leading with Rops again. JW trying to get into position to deny any kind of a push, but that might be a good move actually for Fnatic. That's a 4-man flashbang for JW.
Mousesports have to be decisive now because they can't linger. And Rops will get caught through the smoke. That's a brilliant play from JW. Just cursory few bullets, asking questions, and it will return very nicely indeed. And Mousesports, I don't know how much noise they made, if Fnatic really heard anything, but they sort of ran all the way back to the Dragonlord Tapestry before deciding to go back towards the plateau. And I don't know if they're setting up the split just yet. I think there is a player, indeed it's Stiko, who is actually by the drop zone. So I have to see if this can really do anything here for Mousesports. They look committed towards B now.
There's already a huge rotation. In fact, all 5 players are rotating this way. Fnatic, they should be able to win this round almost 100% of the time. Stiko got one, but Chris goes down, and JW playing a great angle here. Doesn't get the second kill, and Sunny in a 1 versus 2. Don't do anything right now, Fnatic. He hasn't even got the bomb down yet. Just wait it out. There's no point in fighting him. He's very good. So leave him alone for the moment. Trying to jump behind the statue. Sunny gets a kill on Flusher. I have to point out, completely unnecessary and sneaky in there. Crims will shut it down, but that got way too close.
Yeah, it is really insane. You can so easily set up the situation where he's got to run for the plant, and then he has to run through your teammate's angle, and you're sitting like right behind the statue, flush position, and then you know, there's just nothing you can do from that spot. But it's very worrying in a situation like this to see overzealous action. And you can see Flusher giving it a chance. But that could have been Fnatic's chances gone in the series had that not gone so well in the end.
And Mousesports feel like, okay, that was a 1 versus 1. Even if we didn't get the bomb plant and we don't have all the money we need, we're going to go for it anyway. Again, they tried to put Rops on the plateau, try and see if he could work his magic. He's just hiding inside, which he's been doing quite a bit. Now, they should know that he's there. That is a very revealing Molotov coming out. And are they going to be ready for it? Already jumping down. Lecro picks up 1 kill. More members coming in from Mousesports. JW close with the max 7, and he's got 1 as well, leaving Stiko and Rops. And Rops is so low on health here. Can he help his teammate out of drop? They've got plenty of time here. And Flusher and Crims waiting on the other side nervously. They're not quite sure where the rest of the players are, I think.
Yeah, this could get into sort of a very long waiting game here, because obviously to go back for the bomb is going to be pretty annoying, and you're going to lose these forward positions by doing so. And you can see Stiko really wants to hold on to this position by the drop zone, protect against any players coming forwards, and it's Rops to go down now. Stiko has to make the action. Got 45 seconds, so he just has to get the bomb now. The problem is that there's no smoke for him to pick up, so they can cover the cross onto the sites, depending on how deep he goes. There he is, manages to make his way across. No one was watching for it. In fact, both players turning their attention towards the A site for the moment, and that's the perfect opportunity now for Stiko.
Yeah, they actually go and check all the way towards A. He's hiding at a very unlikely spot. This is going to be hard for them to check. They do have 1 flashbang, and that can still ruin his day. But Stiko, now would be a fantastic time to step it up and knock the wind out of Fnatic. Instead, it's Flusher to find him, checks every corner, and that's a job well done. Fnatic playing it close and tight and not letting go of anything this time. No crazy shenanigans from Flusher. 14-13 here.
Yeah, and I like that Rops did not try to distract himself with JW, because obviously JW is murdering his teammates there. And, you know, we were on Rops' perspective, and because Rops was trusting them to take him down. Because if Rops suddenly just tries to kill JW just at the moment someone peeks from the statue, then the run is lost. So he has to just trust that they can actually do their job there and take down JW whilst he works the angles from plateau. But this is not going well for Mousesports. I think we're starting to see that they don't have the rounds on Cobblestone. It's looking like this is very difficult for them to put together something with structure.
An unfolding nightmare here for the Mousesports team. You're absolutely right. I mean, they've done so much. They got 11 rounds in the first half. They probably thought that was going to be more than enough, but right now it's a bit of a different story here. Fnatic back in control. Golden with a headshot, taking down Rops, and a great angle here for JW. Going to be instantly shutting 1 down. There's a team kill in the middle of all of that, so that certainly does not help. And Stiko, 5 health. The grenade, if it a bit closer, would have done it, but Flusher will fire as well. 15-13 match and map point here. Mousesports about to be knocked out of E-League, which honestly would be heartbreaking at this point.
Oh, absolutely. Coming off that win as well so recently, this would be just not just knocking them down a peg, but just knocking them just flat on their back.
Yeah.
After so much success, I think that they would, you know, put themselves, you know, in a much more, like a much higher position than to let's say get knocked out against Fnatic, another new team. And it's the battle of the CT side so far. I think both teams have been struggling with the T side. Flusher going for a cheeky shot, almost makes it, but does receive quite some damage in the process. And Crims is being put deep there on A long.
Flusher probably quite happy that bullet took the wall as well, because that was the AK from Oscar. So if it hadn't touched the wall, he would be dead. Pretty scary. Falls back and a bit more damage on Flusher. Not quite sure how to find a safe spot to stand in any longer. There's going to be a bit of a crunch from the drop as well, but Golden takes down Rops. If Chris can't win this fight, then the rest of the push here for Mousesports is not going to be good. Stiko pushing up with the UMP. He's so close on the bomb side, but does he realize where Flusher is? Hiding right behind, and there's the kill. Flusher finally goes down, and that's going to be the bomb plant. Stiko deciding not to check the corner. He feels safe that no one's going to be there. 4 on 4, and here comes the retake for Fnatic.
Flusher did so well with the rifles, but the AWP not looking so hot, and that's a chance now, indeed, for the Mousesports side as they defend this A bomb site. The bomb ticking away. Oh my god, what a beautiful series of kills. Golden with the HE, Lekro with the combo there with that AK-47. Now it's going to be a race to the bomb. It's getting quite close to detonation, and that's a great defense there, just covering Golden on the defuse, and Fnatic have done it. 16-13, and Mousesports have been eliminated. What a ridiculous series we've just witnessed.
I mean, what a play from Fnatic. That second half looking even better than Mousesports was, and they make it all the way through. That means they're going to face up against Immortals next to the side who finishes second in the group and who goes home. We're not done for the day yet. There's much more Counter-Strike to come, and the next game is going to be crazy. Immortals were such a fun team to watch yesterday, so you have to think this is going to be one of those really good games, especially the level that Fnatic showed throughout this best of 3. It could get really fiery. We will be right back with a full breakdown of this match. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be coming up next.
So there you have it, a look of relief on the faces of Fnatic, able to get across that finish line. Mousesports almost had a comeback at the end, but it is going to be Fnatic that are going to go forward and play Immortals. And now we're going to hear from the new in-game leader of Fnatic. Golden is with Smix right now.
Thank you very much, Richard. Congratulations, Golden. After a straightforward game 1, it was a little bit more rough on maps 2 and 3. It seemed like there was this continual trend of having a sort of rough first half and then kind of clawing back in the second half. So how did it feel from your side?
Well, I felt the pressure. Like, we got only 4 T rounds as T, and that was horrible for us. But it felt like we had the rounds. Like each round we played, it felt like we had something in it. But we didn't manage up to sync ourselves together and do something about it. Yeah, and they picked us off one by one after we got to entry. So.
And how has in-game leading been for you? Obviously, big shoes to step in and fill. JW had high praises for you. He said you're doing a really great job. But for yourself, as someone with not as much experience as some of these world-class players, is it a lot of pressure?
Yeah, it is. Like, they don't pressure me, but I feel the pressure. Like, but I think I have to take a step forward to fix that. So I don't know. This is a good experience for me.
Well, in your next match, you have a chance to get revenge against Immortals, as they were the ones that knocked you out at DreamHack Masters Malmo. So it's going to be another best-of-3 for you guys. How do you feel about that one?
We feel pretty confident, I would say. We'll just take the match as it is.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, Golden. Back to you, Richard.
Yeah, thanks a lot for that. So you can see, keeping his cards close to his chest. Don't blame him, obviously. One more best-of-3 series if they want to get through to the playoffs. But got to say, they took the scenic route, but got there in the end, James.
Yes, it was a match where both CT sides were very dominant. Only 4 rounds won on their T side, Fnatic, as I just mentioned. But, I mean, they had great momentum going into the second half, although it was a slog. They got 8 of the first 7 rounds. It was very difficult for Mousesports. Could only get a round here or there. We had some, some flashy moments from Rops and Chris J. This was great from Rops because he delayed his engagement of the first player, which allowed him to pick up 2 eventually. And obviously, he had some explosion from Chris J later on, but it wasn't enough to get those much needed rounds on their T half. So Fnatic, a very long and laborious match of cobblestone, but indeed they do take it over Mousesports.
Yeah, so what was missing from Mousesports, Semler? Obviously we've sort of put a lot of focus onto Oscar because of the great performance he had in Mykonos. It wasn't that he played poorly, I guess he just wasn't at that world-class level, and
he didn't take over the game.
Yeah.
And it kind of shows you perhaps that Mousesports are still relying on that random element of when somebody's just going to come up and dominate. And unfortunately, Oscar wasn't able to hit his stride today. Chris, neither. He did do the best that he could, but we didn't really see any kind of like mad star performance to really just take over the game and crush it out. And when you're playing against the likes of Flusha, JW, right, you can't really, I mean, all right, they haven't been dominating Fnatic, far from it, but if you give them any room to work with, they still have that star power to crush it.
Yeah, and overall, James, I mean, what have you made of kind of Mousesports? Two contrasting tournaments here, really. You go from the highs of Mykonos, everyone's jumping in the pool, lads, having a great time, and then of
just
course,
like LAN.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And then you come to E-League and brought crashing back down to earth.
Yeah, well, it's a small sample size, so it's all good to win one. But like often you'll see back in the days of like Matt Hughes era UFC, people would say, you're not a champion until you defend your belt, right? So it's not about winning one title here and then dipping out of the next tournament. It's about having some more consistency. So we need to see again. They are a young new roster. So I wouldn't take things too heavily, be it a win or be it a loss. But I think we need to look at them over the months. They still need to grow and gel as a team, so they can just focus on the future and try and get better as time goes on.
Yeah, and what about you, Samuel? I mean, do you feel that we can really glean anything from Mousesports here? I mean, they are going to be disappointed. You think about how they've done at E-League before.
So this is what I think.
Okay,
of,
what do you think?
This is what I think of what happened. So Mousesports, they take Fnatic's map on Mirage, right? They're so excited. They feel like, I finally got my cheese. Turns out the cheese was a chest burster.
Wait, it's a xenomorph.
It's a xenomorph. The Fnatic xenomorph came bursting out on cobblestone.
I thought it was a pool of urine. That would be more interesting.
Is that why you were laughing? We've all been there, James.
I think this is getting better and better, man. I think this is getting better and better.
But obviously, Fnatic go forward now. They've got to play Immortals. It's still a work in progress, but really impressed me in just overall terms of the improvement they've made in a very short space of time. With Golden as the in-game leader.
It comes down to trusting man, everything relies on now seeing how Fnatic progress from this point. If they're capable of beating teams like Mousesports, okay, then we can start talking. Mousesports have won tournaments now. They are a team to contend with. It is always going to be the struggle to find a leader, and that's what every team faces, right? Do we have a leader? Can we trust his calls? Is he going to be able to lead us in the tough times? And it turns out that perhaps Golden does have the chops.
Yeah.
You're going to go the distance.
Yeah, they are definitely out of the gates pretty fast, but not just in terms of in-game leading, but the new people to the team. They've tried it before with some new players, didn't quite work out, but it does look. I mean, the early signs are that it looks pretty healthy, which is great to see for a Fnatic side. You want the people who left the team to succeed, but you want the remainder to succeed as well. And it's so far so good.
Yeah, and obviously I think the key component for Fnatic's prolonged success, it's not just about Golden and his in-game leadership and his tactical model. You know, you've got 3 veterans there that at various points been among the best, if not the best players in the world. You want them to get back to that level, and I guess the question is, are they going to be able to do that individually over the course of this new Fnatic project?
I mean, Flusha has certainly shown us that he's capable. I mean, he's always had it in him. JW as well. There was, I mean, this is a long time ago, but there was a moment where, you know, JW, teams would specifically prepare for him. They knew exactly what he was going to do, and he was still able to get in there and wreck house anyway. He would still find the frags. And so if you can kind of get that Flusha JW combo back and kicking, the unpredictableness of JW, and then Flusha's just this rock-solid monster that you put on a site and he's going to get you 2 frags, that's a lot for Golden to work with. And then you're talking about the likes of Lekro and Crims who can also deliver. So I think that all the tools are here. I think there's just a lot of pressure on Golden right now to make sure that those veterans are going to trust him and that he can actually, you know, decide this is how we need to play the game. This suits everybody. Let's go. Trust me, and we're going to do it.
Yeah, and James, any final thoughts? Perhaps some more Alien references to slip in before the end of the broadcast.
No Alien references, but to just add to what Semler was saying, it's also important that everybody has the right role in the team in order to push forward. Otherwise, you're going to have some difficulty there. No aliens required.
No aliens required. Right. Thanks a lot, James. And rest in peace, Harry Dean Stanton. Anyway, we are going
man.
Yeah, tragic, right? Anyway, 91, great innings. Anyway, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to find out more about the Fnatic project and whether or not they can beat Immortals with the legendary Kogu. We'll find out after the break.